Hey guys, welcome to the first days of March in 2022. We are smack dab in the middle of the winter anime season, and we're just kind of chugging through it. There's still a decent number of series that we can cover, although some of them might be a little bit, um, how shall I say, unexpected, and we'll be covering a couple of those as we go today. Again, it is the 5th of March, 2022, episode 191 of 4PlayerAnimecast. I am your host, Spire, and here with me are my usual compatriots, Near,
Hello.
Toast. Toast is dead again.
Hello, that
Dark.
that is I.
Okay. Dark.
Hi.
All right. So everybody's gathered here. Let's just get right on to the past 2 weeks. What have you been up to, Near?
Um, well, I've been playing a little bit of Elden Ring.
Just a
Uh,
bit.
yeah, believe it or not. Um, I haven't played as much as some people here, but I put about 60 hours in, which I think is pretty solid.
Mhm.
Um, it's a pretty, I think it's a pretty good game. I think it's pretty okay. Uh, I'm not one of those people that's like, yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. But it's pretty good. It's pretty all right.
Okay.
Other than that, keeping up a little bit with Shadowverse. Um, they added a new format to Shadowverse, which is very strange. Not something that I expected. It's cross craft, where you can make a deck from two crafts.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
and it just launched like a few days ago, I think. And apparently, apparently it's pretty fucked up. Shocking. It uses the rotation card pool, and I think the way it works is like you pick a main craft, and then you pick a sub craft, and I think the sub craft can pick less cards
Uh-huh.
than the main. Um, and I think you have to like fill a certain amount. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Of like from like each craft. But yeah, it's got a ranked format as well. So now there's three ranked formats. Um, and it's using a card like ban list. So
Ah,
they
okay.
they're I think that there's like two right now that are like limited cards. You can only have one of them in your deck, and one of them is obviously Dragon Oracle, right? You can't just be
Mhm.
slapping ramp into literally every deck. Um, and I think some like Runecraft Legendary that just like spits out an entire board full. You can only have one of. But yeah,
Okay.
I haven't played it because it sounds like just a bad time overall. But I've seen some pretty funny stuff from it, so that's interesting, I guess. I never really
Okay.
expected them to just shit out a new format out of nowhere. But yeah. Other than that, just keeping up with you know, mobile game shit. Um, but yeah.
Okay. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right. What about you, Toast? Past 2 weeks, please.
There's some fun happenings in VTuber land, that's for sure.
Tell me about it.
Oh,
Gee. Why? Not too much, but yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of that
there,
stuff.
there's
But
uh, there's a two. What is it? What's the counter? Is it three? Is it two for Hololive, three for Niji Sanji, and one for Door? That was fun.
Yeah.
Without going into too much detail, Rushia's contract got terminated because of the problem kept escalating. That was fun.
yeah.
Then Nene was found to have traced some art from the Yuri Yuri artist, but they settled it they
Among
settled
other things.
among other things, sure, but mostly the Yuri artists. But they settled it privately, so all is well. And then they just got the reprimand and the public apology or whatever. So that's fine. That's the 2 for Hololive. Then there's then on the Niji Sanji end. What's it called again? What's that dude's name again on Niji Sanji?
Fulgur, right?
No, before
The
that.
new guy?
No, before that.
Before that.
The one who got tweeted by the JAV person.
Oh, yeah. The guy that like got caught like fucking pirating jabs or whatever.
And it's not just any. It's a type with a certain fetish. That was pretty funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
I
a
didn't see that.
it's a male nipple torture apparently.
Male
Okay.
nipple torture?
I mean, that rocks. Like, if you're gonna have if you're gonna have a controversy, that's fucking
Yeah.
amazing.
Wait, really? That's
Yeah.
not like you're not. Oh my god, what the fuck?
I forget the guy's name though. So
Yeah.
you know he had to do his public apology about whatever, and he's on hiatus. I don't. No one really cares all that much. But I mean,
Yeah,
Japan does for the.
They twisted his nipples in public and he was like, no, don't.
Please don't threaten me with a good time.
No.
So you know, he got outed for that. It's more funny than anything.
Yeah.
So and then there's the KR graduations. 2 more got their announced their graduations. So KR branch is
Going strong. Yeah.
oh yeah, they're like I hope the only one I watch is Banhara, and that's because she speaks English. So I'm pretty sure she's gonna be okay with the merger. Because if you didn't know, Niji Sanji is terminating their KR and ID branches. KR branches because what was it again? They were being mismanaged by a different company or something like that.
Yeah, the management wasn't good, and then the people they were hiring also weren't very good, right, or something like that.
So yeah, and there's some weird ass drama over there on the KR side that has to deal with it. I didn't look it up. I don't speak Korean. Then the ID branch, I don't know. What I guess they're merging because they're not seeing good numbers. Maybe that's my guess. But
I
like,
mean, Niji Sanji does that every once in a while. Sometimes it's just like, yeah, you're not good enough. So
is it ID or IN? Which one is it? Which one's Indian? Which one's Indonesia?
ID is Indonesia.
ID is
IN.
Okay.
Indonesian, and then IN is Indian.
Okay, so yeah, it's ID. So, I mean, the ones that can speak English will be fine because they interact with the EN group all the time, so they're safe. They'll get good numbers. I don't know about the rest. That's just me though. And then then the third one, oh boy, these 2 weeks can't catch a break, huh? Apparently during a multi POV stream, on Petra's side, her Discord got leaked, like a couple frames of it, and then they
Yeah, like 2
unearthed
fucking
it.
frames of like a window of Discord got
That
shown,
is
and people were
more
like,
than enough.
I need to screenshot this and analyze it now.
They just played it back at like 1/4 speed, and they got it. So it wasn't that hard. But yeah, apparently it was a event thread on Discord where certain Niji Sanji members were exposed talking about
I mean, it really doesn't.
about Hololive's numbers, and it was
It's
weird.
it's such a non-issue. like outside of the one guy who
Yeah,
was
the rest were okay.
being
Like,
like pretty antagonistic, like pretty much everyone was kind of just commenting on recent events, like,
that's
and people are like, yeah, Nichi Sunji shit talking Hololive. It's like, you guys are insane, like, but yeah,
yeah.
it's such like a,
That's why the rest get a pass for me. It's like, well, whatever. But then what is it? Fulgore, the new red
yeah, the
guy.
new guy.
Fulgore.
He like came out swinging. It's like, okay, bro, calm down.
Yeah, he said something like
He said
that
that, like, what was it that like council didn't do as well as they expected, and it's like, how do you know that?
I think
Like,
he said Council was a failure after Myth. And it's like,
yeah, it's like
well, if you're
you don't
using
know that.
Myth only, and also if you're only using Myth as like your fucking, I don't even know what to say, like as your only gauge, like then you may as well consider every VTuber on the fucking planet a failure. Because like, what are you
Yeah,
gonna
I mean,
do?
no one's
Like
really out
against,
here.
no one's
No
gonna
one's out here
compete
doing Gura
against like
and like
Myth.
Ame numbers, you know. So
Yeah. So good luck.
okay.
Like,
So so apparently what he said is yeah, council didn't do as good as they expected. Then Luxium became massive. Luxium being the first boy VTuber branch, EN EN branch on
have
under
they
EN.
become massive?
They're pretty big, yeah.
I haven't seen a single thing about
They
them.
last month they got all of them were the highest rated super chatters of all the branches, so good for them. You know,
I mean,
since
to
the
be fair,
Rushi incident, like
to be fair,
whatever.
they literally just debuted. So
Yeah, and that apparently Luxium and Noctis do as like they earn as much as their other successful JP livers in Nijisanji, so you know, good for them. But yeah, what Fulgur said is
hey, but what does that have to do with Ian?
yeah, that has nothing to do
Like,
with.
it has nothing to do with Ian. Like,
I mean, it has nothing to do with like Hololive. Like,
Yeah.
and he has no data to back like how well Council did. So, like, he's literally just talking out of his ass.
I mean,
Yeah.
at
What
best,
he's
it's, you know, comparing like, would you call it, like analogously to the blow up that was Myth, which again, like, is not
It's-
going to happen
yeah,
again. Like
that's not
that will
something you catch on a
never.
bottle twice.
Yeah, that's not happening ever again for really any VTuber. Like,
Yeah, to be fair, what Fulgor said in full was, yeah, console didn't do as good as they expected, then Luxium became massive. Seems they're a little scared. I'm just not sure if they would do it like the Japanese side with the idle mentality of genders being separated, if it'll work at all. But yeah, they were mad about Niji apps again so fast for sure, Lamau. I guess this is in
what is he, bro? Come on now. Like,
I guess this is in response to what
Hololive
Hololive
announcing,
Hololive opened up auditions.
yeah, mailing
again.
in auditions, but it's
But
also
they
just
open it-
like,
But that's usually a pretty long process. Like, it's not
They
something
opened
they're
it up in
doing
December, and
reactionary.
it was in December, and they were bringing it up again, probably
Yeah.
because of the what is it? Because of their new branch. I mean, that's fine, but not like it was new.
also
It wasn't new.
If Hololive was afraid of anything, they wouldn't have gotten rid of it. Like they wouldn't be getting rid of talent for literally any reason if they were like struggling. Like,
Yeah, especially not
they're not
top
shaking
their
in their
top like
boots.
super chat. But
And then
well,
that's
anyway.
fine. That's the major thing. The other thing was what Vox said. I guess it's pretty minor, but
I mean, I did not take Fox's thing as like
I guess.
antagonistic. It was more of like complimenting what's his name, Shu, right?
Sure, yeah.
So I don't know. I think
What
people are
does
taking that
Vox
one
say?
out of
But yeah,
context.
but
He said like Hololive like tech support like in shambles or some shit.
Niji
When
thriving, thank you, Shu. And then, but
yeah.
do you know what happened because of that? Callie unfollowed him.
Oh
Oh,
no,
spicy!
yeah, Callie, the fucking like drama queen who like has to fucking comment and react to fucking every little thing on Twitter before she knows the full context of anything. Yeah, so
But yeah,
spicy.
That's fine. That you can hand wave that, but it's mostly what Fulgore said.
Yeah, it's
So and
largely a non-issue.
people
I
are
think.
kind of mad because people are saying he's acting like a big shot, even though he's just debuted and has the lowest numbers of his branch. So
Does he really?
yeah, he does. So you know,
I mean,
Well,
again, it's like you gotta be coming out like, fuck, dude. Like, yeah,
yeah,
Hololive's scared. Like,
it's like
Yeah,
he
I don't
just
know, bro.
debuted. Like,
I
what
don't
is
know
your
about
problem?
that, bro.
But yeah,
yeah.
that's
I mean, again, overall, it's just some poorly selected people. I want to say, or people that are poorly suited to interacting with the public is how I want to put this
Yeah,
gently.
just a silly fucking.
Are creating some unfortunate scandals, and it's messing it up for it's messing it up for the rest of the people,
yeah.
which is
It
again
kind of just
unfortunate.
makes him
But
look like a dick, and it's. I mean,
Yeah, I
okay,
mean,
man.
at best, the coverage should have been like Holgore acting like a fucking asshole,
Yeah.
or more at
But
11. Like, not like, oh, Myth shit, not Myth, Nijisanji shit talking
yeah,
Hololive. Like,
stupid. But
And in the end, it's you get that Niji Sanji En Hololive Yen collab. Probably not going to happen anytime soon. Not even more now. So there you go.
again,
But
it's
I
it's the
mean,
very unfortunate happenstance of a couple of very bad apples, and
I don't know
especially
about the
since
rest, but I think Millie was in that league too, but she didn't say anything. And Millie has
yeah, I
good
mean,
relationships with with ID members of Hololive, so she's fine. She wouldn't shit talk them behind their back, right? I
I mean,
believe in you,
she's
Millie.
pretty sure she's good friends with Kiara too, right? So,
She's good friends with Muna. That's what you're thinking.
oh right. But
So yeah, they're fine.
the
but
thing
yeah,
is the thing. Look, I mean
This
the
this just
reason.
proves this just proves that what is it? Niji Sanji shit talks whole life behind their backs. They're not always friends. Whoa.
The thing I want to say is that and I want to kind of close it at this point, if I may. Part of the reason why I didn't partake in this discussion that just happened right now is because
Goldfield.
honestly, there are plenty of problems that happen with these sorts of VTuber streamers and stuff like that. There are always there are a bunch of freaks who stream for 16 24 hours whatever, and they have either physical or mental health issues a lot of the time, or both. And it's almost a miracle if they are of that they are sane and have good personalities to begin with, that some of them have been collected, they have decent personalities to begin with, although I guess having that sort of ironclad personality, it might be what you need for the job. But either way, I think the recent developments, or some of the recent branches, or some of the recent people that have been pulled in, and especially the expansion towards the the English speaking community, have brought in a different level of, or not level, but another branch of drama, which is honestly relatively tiresome to deal with regards to people arguing about sub counts or whatever whatever is going on there. And I really it's already tiresome enough to deal with streamers that are not good people to begin with. And to be sure, there are
Who you calling out?
you
Who
know
you calling out, Spire? Calling out Germa?
I'm not
I heard that
yeah,
guy's
I
a
mean,
I'm
he
psycho.
not
threatened us today to throw us all in a fucking meat grinder. So
yeah.
wait for that to get
But
clipped.
But yeah, there are already problems with people, not just in the English speaking community, but in the Japanese communities, and obviously the Korean communities as well, that are bad faith actors. And to have an entirely new brand of stupidity, I want to say, with feeling jealous or competing, doing whatever. I just, it's just tiresome to me. It's very tiresome. But yeah,
Yeah, well,
I
get used
honestly.
to it. I think we have not seen the last of this for.
Oh no. But I do want to kind of close it there because at the end of the day,
That's
it's
about
really
it.
yeah.
But yeah,
Okay, so yeah, there was a lot.
I
Again,
guess I guess no one. I guess the EN branch isn't as friendly as the JP branch, huh? Oh well, that's fine.
it's
But yeah,
unfortunate. Yeah. All right.
I'll
Well, thank you,
I'll still
Toast.
watch everyone except that Fulgore guy and Mista. I still
I
can't
mean, did
forgive
any of them
Mista.
have really that much of an interesting stream? I'm
I
gonna
like
say probably
like
not.
the
Oh.
what is it? The EN girls are fine. The first group of boys are fine, except Mista. I'll
Oh.
never forgive him for his rice incident.
Yeah, his disgusting, dirty wash eating
Yeah.
ass.
Well, fine
Or
is a
dirty
relative
rice,
term,
rather.
but
And
anyways.
yeah, that's fine. And then there's the whack door thing. Well, that was fun. You guys heard of that one?
I
No?
mean, I think this is enough for the VTuber scandals. But anyways, thank
Yeah,
you,
I'll
Toast.
fine. I'll just sum it real quick. Apparently, one of the VTubers under Whackdoll got doxxed by their company.
Oh,
It-
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
the
I
damage
heard about
claim
that.
and lawsuit, and I was like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Good job. You're officially the
Not
worst
a
company.
lot of good things going on over there. And again, I want to say the newer developed companies, a lot of people kind of scraping the barrel in terms of personalities and talents is what I want to say. But anyways, thank you, Toast, for your 2 weeks.
I sure
Dark,
love
what about
VTubers.
Dark? What about you?
Yeah, Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm.
There you
Elden
go, Elden
Ring.
Ring.
Elden Ring.
I played.
What's your build?
I am at. I'm doing sorcery. Started Faith, and then they don't give you like anything cool or good for Faith until a very long time in, or you have to go like really out of your way to get some of the shit. Like I just never found it. So I changed to sorcery, and I
You
really
can
liked
respec
that.
at that one NPC, right? 3? Or
No,
it's
you need there's like some item, but you do get a lot of them. Like I think I got like 10 without even like looking for them. So you get a decent bit, and then it's just kind of like, don't fuck up. Yeah, I do wish they would make, that process a little bit fucking, just fucking
I heard
spend like souls and then you get.
I heard the game's pretty long. Like there's a
Yeah,
huge ton of content behind it. Enough for
I
what,
have
2
not.
games or more?
Yeah, I have not done like all the side bosses or anything. Like I beat it. And I did I think I did a lot of the like main side bosses. I have not gone through like every cave and stuff like that.
Aren't there
And
like
done like all the
80?
world stuff.
Aren't there like
It's like
86
88
unique
bosses
bosses?
or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Um, and I think I killed all the main. I think I did that, but I did all of that, and I'm at 100 hours. Uh, in the first what was it 5 days? I sank 80 hours into it. Oh. Out of 120 hours in those 5 days, 80 of those
Nice.
hours I played all. So there were a few days where I barely fucking slept. It's an amazing game. I think, you know, I think it's probably one of the. I mean, I could make I think an easy caveat to make would say it's one of the best open world games I've ever played. I think in recent history, it's definitely one of the best open world. Because, like, I feel like a lot
Is
of a lot of open world games turn into just like fucking the same shit of like a Ubisoft game. Like even Horizon was just like, here's your quest list. Like go here. Like here's all the shit you need to do. Craft like your fucking armor, upgrade your armor with like here's your secondary stats. Like break down shit to build it up. And this game's a lot more. I think an open world the way they did it is like probably best way at this point to do a Souls type game. Just because of, it doesn't need to have a story that's in your face, and a lot of it is like, storytelling through like the bit. So,
Mm.
if you explore, you just find stuff and you find cool things, and it doesn't feel like, you're constantly looking at, here's what I have to do. Like you have
Mm.
like a goal in mind, like you kind of know where to go. But especially since the game kind of makes it clear that when it tells you to go somewhere in particular part of it, that it's like, this seems like something I don't need to do right now. This is not something I need to do to go to a lot of like the rest of the map or something like that.
Mm.
Thought that was really cool about it. I also think that build wise, it's probably the best of the FromSoft games, especially. I still think some maybe like, I don't know, build variety wise, I think it's probably the best Souls game at this point, Neo included. Like Neo has a lot of builds based on weapons, but as far as like gameplay styles go, I think this game definitely has the most variety. Because they I feel like they did a really good job with the sorceries and the faiths, like the incantations in this game. Way over other. That was that was pretty much my entire 2 weeks so far. Because like as soon as that game came out, I didn't fucking play anything else or do anything else really for that matter.
So, are you saying it's the best Souls type game?
Yeah, I
Ow.
think it is. I think it's my favorite. I think Neo 2 is a second, but Neo
I
2 at
still
this point
say
probably.
Sekiro is like head and shoulders above, honestly. Like Elden
But do
Ring's world,
you consider Sekiro to
I
be
like
a like
Sekiro.
true Souls game though?
I mean,
Because like you don't get,
it's
you don't
different.
get
It
like
is
other
different,
weapons, you don't
but
get build.
it still follows the same formula, right? Like let's be real.
Well, yeah,
It's still heavily,
it is a
it's still
like rogue
immensely
like
influenced
Souls ish.
by Souls games, right? I wouldn't necessarily call it a Souls game. But like
Neo is more of a Souls game than Sekiro.
yeah, for sure. But I still think in terms of like games that FromSoft has put out since like Demon's Souls, Sekiro is like head and shoulders above like everything.
Yeah,
I do think Elden
it's
Ring is very
fair to
impressive.
say.
It's a very good game, right? But so far my uh like issues with the game is the fact that like the world is very big and it is very full of stuff, but a lot of that stuff is very like cookie cutter, like mix and match Lego pieces dungeons. And a lot of that stuff has been extremely boring.
I heard
I think a lot of the dungeons like suck. They're not good.
Yeah,
Um
that's why I
they're
haven't done all of them.
they're legit like the worst content in the game. And a lot of the rewards you get for them are not very good either. Um, the
Yeah, there
bosses
are
in a lot of
some
the
that are like
dungeons are like
really good.
literally just either scaled up reskinned enemies or it's just two enemies with health bars and it's like okay, like this isn't good. Like this isn't good content.
I heard
So I
a
feel like
theory that most of the stuff in Elden Ring that's throwaway was just cut content from the other Souls games that they probably
I
just
mean,
threw
it's
in here.
definitely not because it's like
no, because a lot of it
that
is
we would have known
just like
about that.
a lot of it is just like in the game, like say for example, there's like an enemy in the game called pumpkin heads. Well, I don't know if they're called pumpkin heads, but
Yeah,
they
they
got
are.
this big they got
They're
this
they're
like big
literally called Mad
metal
Pumpkinhead.
yeah, they got this big metal like pumpkin shaped helmet on, right? And there are a standard, somewhat uncommon enemy in the overworld. And you can find them, you can fight them. They're really not that big of an issue. But there are dungeons and little crypts that you can find where the bosses at the end are just those dudes. And there are instances where there's two of them. and it's just bad. Like it's not fun. It's not good, like engaging content. And a lot of my issue that I have with people like praising Elden Ring right now as a literal masterpiece is they're saying that the world is just so like chock full of like good and like interesting content. And I'm sitting here like I'm like literally seeing the Lego pieces connect together in these dungeons, and it just looks like shit to me. Um, so that's my issue with Elden Ring. Other than that, like the actual open world, like exploring the open world and stuff that's like not dungeons is very good. I will agree. But so far, like the lows in Elden Ring have been very low. There was some very strange and like not good design decisions in that game. Um, but like overall, I do think it is a solid game. I just don't think it's fucking 10 out of 10. You know, right now I'm sitting at like a solid 7. Um, but yeah, that's my review.
Yeah,
Anything?
well, I
So pretty
would
much-
give it a 9.5, maybe.
Well,
But yeah, it
Elden
has
Ring
like it
aside,
has a lot of shit where you're like, you probably could have cut down. Like a lot of the dungeons and caves, like some of them, like basically they could have cut out like pretty much every dungeon and cave that doesn't give you like a really important talisman, and then the game would be better for it.
Yeah, like
Um,
wandering into a cave and then backstabbing like 18 fucking crystal miners for the 50th time just to get like a
yeah,
dog
it's just
shit
like,
ash summon. It's like, wow, like cool. I really feel like
yeah,
I'm discovering things in the world. Okay, you know,
yeah. It
they
turned
really should have
into
cut
that
down
was
on.
why I did not do a lot of those, and so there's definitely that to it. I do think as far as, I mean, I guess like this is why just to wrap that up, I would probably say is Sekiro is probably like the most well realized or well um
It's
like
I
the
think it's
most
the
neat
most
package.
tightly, yeah, it's the most like
Yeah.
tightly developed experience that FromSoft has put out for sure.
It has like one boss in the entire game that's like actually fucking abysmal.
Yeah,
So I do think that that's something to consider. I think Elden Ring is ambitious for them, and it was very good. And I think that an open world, the way they did it, probably the best way that they could tell a story, the way they try to in like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, right?
yeah, for
I
sure.
think like Sekiro had a beginning, a middle, and an end. Like it told you this. Um, so, but I think something like this definitely worked better for the type of game that they want like Dark Souls to be. That's it. Then that's it. End of review.
Yeah.
so other than Elden Ring, well, I guess you were mostly tied
No,
up by Elden Ring.
nothing.
So.
Literally nothing other than that in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are tied up just the same as you. So, anyways, thank you guys for giving quite an extensive review of Elden Ring. Um, I guess I I have to go, but I mean, I didn't really do much. The good thing is, again, because the weather was clearing up, I was actually able to run outside more before. Okay, so before, what I was gonna say? Oh, yeah. So before this winter, I was actually talking with my boss, and my boss is definitely like perennial, like, or he's a devout, like, I love the California weather. I love it when it's just all even. There's no it's just like a warm spring all throughout the year with like slight sprinkles of rain. And I'm the four seasons type of person. Like I want snow, I want a little bit of warmth, I want spring, I want fall, stuff like that, because it's nice to get that sort of variation. But then this winter, just like, oh, there's so much ice just everywhere and it wouldn't melt. And it was just like, it's not like it even really snowed. It like the ice, like the snow came once, and then the ice just wouldn't melt for like the next like 2 weeks because because the temperatures were so low. So it was just for 2 weeks. It was just bone chilling cold. There was no like snow to entertain anybody, and I was just like, this is the most miserable fucking thing. And I think after that, I definitely empathize with my boss a little bit more on wanting wanting warmer weather. But
Yeah, well, wait till you get the experience of it snows, right? And then you have like the single day of like slightly above zero.
oh, you get
So all
hope.
the
Yeah,
snow
you get some hope.
so all the snow melts just a little bit.
Yeah,
And then the next day
and the
it
snowy rain
snows
comes.
again.
Yes, yeah,
So all of that snow under the snow that just came under is completely frozen and like
yeah,
just
exactly. The
totally
the worst
packed.
part of that is also that I have to like crack and scrape off the ice from my car like bit by
Yeah.
bit. I was like, oh God, please, please. But yeah, other than that, there wasn't too much. I was running around a little bit more these past 2 weeks, but just watching some more anime stuff.
What's your favorite Korean drama, Spire?
I don't watch Korean drama. The
Why
last
not?
time I
Do you hate
don't.
Korea?
Yeah, I just hate all of Korea. Sorry.
Okay.
But I don't think I've really even watched a Korean drama to a significant extent in my life. Like I was just never I was always like a variety show person. So yeah, I mean
Squid Game.
but what?
Squid
Said you have
Games.
not seen Squid Game.
Squid Game.
Oh,
Yeah. No, I have not seen Squid Game. But yeah, so that's pretty much my 2 weeks. Pretty quiet. And Cecilia said I watched the bad Trapped in VR one. I don't know which one that is. I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I have no idea what the title is because my memory is terrible. But yeah, anyways, that was my 2 weeks.
How
And
about
that
in
was
VN World, Spire? Any new spicy ones?
no, I unfortunately did not. Oh, I heard that the news about like some huge like Minatosoft change in Minatosoft again being known primarily for their work in with Machikoi, Machite wa Watashi ni koi shinasai, or Please Love Me Seriously. And
And what happened there?
um I think like the developer team, I don't know what they specifically mean by the developer team, if it's just the programmers or if it's just like a bunch of the scenario writers as well, but the development team, quote unquote, had all gone or being bought out or switched over to another company or something like that. So there's been a huge like
Which company?
restructuring
whoa.
of Minatosoft. And apparently, whatever the developer team is working on, they're gonna finish off like the project that they've been working on, obviously. But after that, I think um Takahiro, who was the representative slash founders, I guess CEO of sorts of the company, said that he was I forget if he said if he was trying to find like another team or trying to form another team or whether he had already formed another team. But it's not a good
Not
look,
looking
right?
good.
Yeah, and the artist, him, and the main artist for stuff like Majikoi, and the main artist slash character designer slash sprite designer for Minasoft is also out on the streets apparently looking for work, and it's not looking good. It's a sudden sort of how do I say this internal disintegration, not disintegration, but clearly a restructuring of that level of that magnitude. It does not portend of any great news. So,
Yeah.
anyways, wishing them the best of luck in terms of whatever they have to resolve. I know, you know, there are already very few prolific, large scale VN studios as is still remaining in these days because again, the VN industry is a dying industry still. But
Is it though? I see
I
a new VN every week.
No, you
Yeah.
see a new
You
localized
see,
visual novel every week, which is the
What
you also
about-
see Nukige every, which you can churn out in like
Yeah, also, I
a
mean,
month.
Nikige is also quite different, and I mean, again, Toast, there's a difference between the localized stuff and what's being created in Japan, right? So,
So are you
let's
saying
talk about
something
that.
like Arrow Voice is not a legit VN? How dare you?
I'm saying that a lot of the stuff that you might be seeing might have been made back when there was no COVID. Let's put that mildly. So, anyways, that was pretty much my 2 weeks, and we should move on. I guess I'll go first here
What?
with
Okay.
surprise. So so I'll go first.
Aspire makes a list and then he changes it right at the last second. How dare you?
No?
What?
No,
That is not what
no, he
happened.
definitely did not. If you're looking at the
Oh.
announcement when I type it, well, actually, no, I did type that, I think, in order. But either way, no, he didn't. So
Anyways,
you're
I'm
looking
How
at
going
the
dare
to
you
wrong
edit
one.
it?
Yeah, I'm going to go first with Orient, and if this art looks familiar to you, it's because it is. It is the original creator of the manga. This is a manga original. The original creator of the manga is Otaka Shinobu, who is famous for creating the art behind Magi. It's Magi, right? Magi.
It's
Is
Magi,
it Magi?
yeah.
Is
Magi.
that the
Magi. Yeah.
Sinbad one?
I don't think
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's
That's
Magi. I don't think I've ever seen
yeah.
anyone refer to it as Magi. I'm
Although
pretty sure
Magi
it's
is the
Magi.
correct like English pronunciation, right?
I
Magi is
I've only ever heard people refer to it as Magi. So
Magi.
Okay.
It's
at
pronounced
least in
Magi.
terms of
So
the series, like the word
Yeah.
is
No.
is Magi, correct?
No.
But
That's what I was
in
talking
terms of
about.
the series, I've only ever
Yes.
heard people refer
Yes.
to it as Magi. So
Yes.
well, then they spelled Magi wrong because that's what these are. But
But anyways, yeah. So good thing that you bring that up. Toast just brought up is that the guy behind Adventure of Sinbad. So the funny thing is, Magi is the original series, and it's a series about um, powerful Magi who are sort of like kingsmakers, or kingmaker, I guess, and they go, and do big. The main character Alibaba goes and does big things as a king's candidate and saves the world, along with the Magi at hand and stuff like that. But the original series actually had a spin-off later on called Magi Adventures of Sinbad, where Sinbad was sort of a I want to say almost like a supporting character, a major supporting character that became later almost a deuteragonist. So then he evolved and came into his own spin-off called Adventure of Sinbad. The I wouldn't say issue, but the interesting that happened afterwards though was that Adventure of Sinbad actually ended up becoming more popular than the original itself. Like I'm
I have
not just
never
saying
even heard of the original.
Yeah, I'm not just saying this by word of mouth. It legitimately had more manga sales and got its own anime and everything. It was more popular than the original manga, which is pretty interesting. But the guy behind this, Magi, as well as Adventure of Sinbad, and I believe he also created Sumomomo Momomo, which is a very old, not old, very old, but it's a relatively old series for those of you guys who are not in tune with stuff and were born past the
It's old, man.
It's not that
2004.
old. It's not that old.
That's
It's not that old.
that's legal, Spire. 2004 is 18 years old.
2004 isn't that? Oh, I guess.
Yeah,
But
it's pretty fucking
Okay,
old,
boomer.
Spire.
It's old enough to leave the
don't
house.
don't
The
don't
future
don't
is
say
now,
that.
old
Don't say
man.
that. Don't say that to me. But anyways, he also did create Sumo, but he is behind this as well. And this is, I believe, created by. Let me just go through the specs real quick. It is created by ACGT studio, although from the whole looks, it's like a show series. It had a lot of money. There's a bunch of subcontractors and subcontractors creating it, mainly being led. The art is mainly being kind of, I guess, handled and overseen. I think the animation production is mainly not animation production, but the art, like staffing, and I think direction is a lot of it's being overseen by JC staff, which is taking care of 2D design, and I believe their internal 3D CGI department is apparently taking care of things on that side as well. So a lot
Well,
of
tell
money
us
being
about the story. What is this series?
So the story here is that the there it's set in originally feudal Japan, so everybody
It
was
is.
kind of living
That's the
peacefully,
Orient, huh?
And then Cecil said Magi's final arc has some of the crappiest Aspo I've ever seen. No, I mean that's what I said before it even finished. I said I was like 25. What was it? It was like 13 or 14 or 25 chapters into the flashback, right? Of before it became. This was like the second to last arc, and it was like 25 chapters into like the flashback, and I was just like, wow, this is the Magi author has no idea what the fuck to do with the story. And everybody was just like, no, you gotta wait for it. This is everything. I'm like, no, that's not how storytelling works, my friend. Once you have 25 episodes of flashbacks to narrate your story, to explain like what's going on in terms of the lore, it's no longer a good story. There's a chapter where yeah, it's the author is not very good at writing bigger continuous stories, but that's I'll cover that later. But going back to Toast I'm just explaining the story real quick. So it's set in feudal Japan. Everybody's living peacefully until these demons, these oni kishin, these like supernatural beings, come from the sky and start wreaking havoc, taking control over everything. And these oni and kishin subjugate the people of Japan. So now, fast forward, X number of years, and the people of the land have to mine a bunch of stuff and kind of like be subservient to the demons and have to mine for rocks that the demons feed on. However, there are a small number of people, kind of refugees or like kind of hiding out in isolation, called bushi, and these bushi are um, supposed to find and kill the oni. So the point is that they are sort of, I guess, samurai, right? And they keep fighting against oni and kill them to make sure that one day that all of Japan will be rid of these kishin, these oni, these monsters, and people can live peacefully ever again. Now that's the backstory. It's kind of like it's the vague like you guys need to kill the monster. The main character needs to kill the monsters. It's that sort of vague backstory that's gonna get ass pulled here and there later. So it doesn't really matter. But the main character is pretends sort of to want to be a miner, but he secretly wants to be a bushi with his, big ass, cool looking red scythe, like full Ragnar the Blood Edge kind of like level scythe. And
What do you have against
he,
Ragnar? He's cool.
no, I don't have anything against Ragnar, but I'm just making some comparisons, right? And he goes along with his uh, blonde-haired friend, which you can see here in the poster promotion art. He is Kojiro, I believe.
V. Sasaki
Kanamaki
Kojiro
No,
from Fate Stay Night.
no, Kanamaki Kojiro, and he travels along with him to kind of kill the monsters. And along the way, he meets many different people, many different sort of monsters, and other companions as well. So it's a general sort of like journey thing. So that's the story. Again, going back to the specs real quick. Again, it's helped out by JC staff. The animation production is done by, I believe, or direction is apparently done by Sangsan Production, as well as production is done by ACGT. So it's a mixture of like some Korean contractors plus ACGT. I forget what they did here. Oh yeah, they they did some like smaller stuff. They did like DS Ide. They did what is this? Oh, freezing? Really? Wow. Okay. They did a small part of freezing and stuff like that. They've done like a lot of small stuff and helped out as part of bigger stuff like initial D install. But I believe this is one of their sort of bigger major projects that they are, heading all episodes of. So this is one of their initial bigger projects. A lot of the no, none of the like people that worked on Maggie from the Magi anime, I mean, from previously, actually really moved on here, except for like one of the character designers. Pretty much everybody else, like the director, the music people, etc., etc., are all like just revamped. They're just new people. So it's it's an interesting change of pace. Although obviously they've replicated the art of like previous manga and previous anime pretty decently in Orient. So that's pretty much it. And again, a pretty solid list of voice actors and actresses as well. Uchida Yuma, Saito Soma, Shimonohiro, Azumi Iwaki, so on, Takashi Rie, Onishi Saori, Satoshi Hiro. So a lot of good stuff here. In terms of so the way this series pans out is that the guy again, he gets inspired, he wants to go out and kill Oni, and he makes the journey, and that's pretty much it. There's no like real destination. The journey is just kind of being made, and
So is it
it's
episodic?
no, it's mini arcs. It's mini arcs
Oh,
with like eventual like gradual character power level progression.
right.
And I just feel like this is, I don't want to be too critical of um Otaka Shinobu, the original creator behind this, but I feel like he just kind of gave up, and this is his jerk off fan fiction. This is his ultimate, like, I don't give a single fuck about anything, about story, about pacing, about whatever. I'm just gonna do whatever kind of looks cool on the screen. And it it's just, it's like if you took a 14-year-old or like a 15, 16-year-old and told them like make a cool freaking anime, like, like My Hero Academia, but like with more swords and stuff and like power.
I guarantee you,
That's
I could make something cooler than this.
It's called Fate Stay Night. It came out in
Yeah,
2007.
So it's like
Where's the
most
Grand
of
Order now?
this, it's like a very cheesy mix of like most of it's action. Like a lot of it's just kind of like the anime makes it clear that you're kind of just watching people bash on like the main characters and stuff like that. Just go like I can't give up, even though I'm wounded. I gotta kill this, demon that's like beating on me, and then he becomes more powerful and he kills the demon in like one stroke of the samurai sword, right? The glorious Nippongonese Japanese samurai sword, and and then the sword, like it's like you almost have to see it to believe it, because like when I describe it, you'll just think like, oh, Spire is just making hyperbole
so
to
is it
bash
like
on the
is it
series.
like is it like pure like power fantasy, or is it like
It's not
is there like are there
power
like hints
fantasy,
of
but
like
it's
is it like
well, it's
Japan wank uh, with like the samurai like spirit shit?
no, it's not so much the Japan kind of like circle jerk. It's like it's like power fantasy in a very shonen-esque. It's not like it's the variant of power fantasy where it's like it's so shonen. It's like you can smell the how do I say this? The Naruto, the Bleach,
Yeah,
stuff like
the
that
power
in
up
your
into the
nose.
fucking final ultimate blow type shit.
Yeah, and like I can't give up. Like
Yeah.
I'm about to not get um you know and again, it's like there's literally a scene, right, where the red-haired main character, right, he doesn't have access to his sight. So he takes um and he has to kill this like demon in front of him, right? And his other friend is like, not available. So he tries to take hold of his friend's sword, the sort of
That's
blue flame
that's
sword you see
lewd.
in this poster right here. It's like a regular sword when in the scene. So he takes control of the sword, right? He holds on to the sword. He's, what's happening? And suddenly like black lightning like surrounds the sword and his arm, and it's like, oh, I can't lift it. And then he tries to
Hell
pull it
yeah,
out.
I love that stuff.
Oh no, his sword basically.
Yeah.
and
Hell
and
yeah, that sounds
the
great.
moment he's about to pull it out, his body sharp swords spurt out all over his
Oh
body.
shit!
He becomes
Here,
literally
So
like
he's Shiro,
the
dude.
Oh snap! His
yeah,
reality
the
marble.
embodiment of swords. And when he finally takes control of this of his friend's Kojiro's sword, all the swords suddenly shrink, and he's like, my arm, it's like on fire or something. And then the
Dude,
guy
this
like
guy just ripped off Fate.
Hell
and
yeah!
then the guy like next to him, the guy that is going to be covered in the later episodes, who's also Tam, by the way. Let's say RJ. But he's just like, slice that demon in one stroke. And the MC's like, got it. And he like does this dash forward and
Yeah.
he like slices it. And it's again like it sounds like I'm doing this hyperbole and like making fun of, but this is literally what is happening on the screen. And these scenes, and it's not even like, the unfortunate thing is, a lot of series and studios have these days, right, the wherewithal to kind of, it's like with superhero series, right, where a lot of these superhero series have, like, even when they do the action, they kind of make it a much more like kind of like Jason Bourne, like rough and tumble. Like they really show a lot of the action and boom, 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 and they make it a little bit more like smooth and fluid and realistic and stuff like that. Um, and a lot of these anime series, right, like put a little bit more like fluidity and like camera rotation and like kind of ham it up, right?
Yeah.
Um, There's not as much of that in this series. This is like almost like I'm watching like an early, maybe late 2000s series where it's just like the guy's just towards the monster, and he just like slices it in two. And it's not really like, there's not like this like 30-second action sequence where it's like you're seeing like the sparkles of the sword, and it's like it's a very like cinematic moment. He's just fucking getting in there and just being the shonen protagonist and killing the monsters, or like barely holding on against the monster's pressure, but he's bleeding, his head is bleeding, but he's gonna hold on. And it's very, 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 very like everything a 14-year-old boy who's been watching a lot of My Hero Academia and like Naruto would want in his life. And it's that, and then he combines it with like a little bit of a dash, 10%, 15% of this like sidekick humor with um between the MC and like the blonde haired dude, and then the girl, again in the promotional art, the girl who's just like sometimes trying to like act sexy, but then they do like this like slapstick duo, comedy, and that's also kind of like part of it. That's just kind of like sometimes appears out of nowhere, and for like because comic relief is just needed in these series, right? Like you just do comic relief. That's just how it is, right? Again, it's like the author doesn't really seem to have he doesn't seem to have any wherewithal. Is how I want to say. He just kind of puts it in because he wants to put it in. He just wants to have these action series. He just wants to have the girl, sexy, and then they do like a slapstick around it, and then he wants to kind of pull it all together slightly, but not really. He doesn't really care. So he kind of just has like a sob story here for the girl. And then after that, it's back to killing the demons. It's back to, finding some random lore about the demons that's just like whatever. It's not that relevant. And it's that sort of cycle. And then it's back to the action. It's back to the journey. Okay, there's there's some other like power leveling scene or whatever. And it's a stark difference, or it's not a stark difference, but once you notice the difference, it's stark, I think, between this and say something like Magi, or I want to even say something like Shaman King, right?
Right.
Where they are doing some sort of like shonen kind of like, oh, I'm becoming stronger, like I'm gonna do my best. And even that in there, the fights aren't like super fancy, right? Like it's mostly just like, for instance, in like Shaman King, it's like Yo Asakura trying not to fucking get slapped down by the spirit of fire, right? That's literally how it is. But in those series, a lot of the direction and the pacing and like where the characters were going, how the characters were evolving was more coherent and was a little bit more smooth and was shaped more properly by the fact that they kind of had an end goal, right?
But yeah, it has a
Um,
purpose, right? Like
yeah,
Shaman
because like
King,
Yo wants to
Shaman
become
King
Shaman
having
King.
like
Yeah,
a tournament arc,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it's
Or
it
like
has a
V tournament,
purpose,
right?
right? Like it's
Mhm.
a means to get to the end goal, right?
Or like even Magi, like it's not Magi isn't just a journey. It's like the main guy Alibaba is a king's candidate, and he has to go, with his Magi like Aladdin, and he has to go find his meaning, right? And he has to, and then he ends up having to save the world pretty soon, sooner rather than later. He kind of gets that objective. Um, so there's a little bit more of a definite kind of narrowing, like you have to do this, and I think that helps a lot in kind of containing this sort of fan fiction fantasy that the author
So
Wataru Shinobu wants to do.
so this never set up a like clear cut goal? Or is it just
No,
like
he's literally
I'm
like
going to kill the
I'm gonna
monster?
kill I'm just gonna make I'm just gonna journey around and kill the demons. That's literally the point of their band. The main guy, the blonde guy, and the green chick that comes in later. The whole point is just we have to keep going around and keep killing demons and until Japan is cleared of all the demons, and that's
Okay.
literally it. And then they're going around. And so again, it's not only does that not make it not only does that make it less coherent, but it is so blatantly obvious that this is just, the author just wants to relive his 13-year-old days in a sense. He just
I mean,
wants to have.
to not have a I feel like to not have a clear cut like end goal like that is it like completely shifts the way the series like feels because like even in a series like Inuyasha, right,
Mhm.
where the journey is essentially endless, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, 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 yeah. But there's an actual
there
goal.
is still
Yeah.
it's still like with the intent and the purpose of the journey is to
Mhm.
find all the shards to complete the jam, you know save the world, whatever, right? It's not
Mhm.
just like, yeah, we're just gonna wander around and see what kind of shit we get into. I feel like that totally shifts like the tone and sort of the feeling
It decreases
of,
the urgency. It
yeah,
forcibly decreases the urgency
it's sort of like,
to have all day to
it's
kill
like,
these
oh,
things.
they're getting into these battles and it's like this life threatening situation, but it's like, why? Like
Yeah,
what
exactly.
purpose does this serve in the end? And I think for the viewer to be like, oh well, the reason the main characters are doing this is because they want to kill the monster. is not good enough.
Yeah. The
So
thing is, again, it's like there's a time and place for journey like series. And again, like something like Kingdom Tabi or Spice Wolf and stuff like that, are or Majin no Tabi Tabi or whatever, right? And they're perfectly fine, or even like something like To Your Eternity, right? And
yeah,
they're all perfectly fine, but they have because of, or even uh uh Maotsuke no Yome, right?
hmm
The Magus's bride or
Magus' Bride.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was how it was localized, right? Um, the they all have a pretty different tone because, or Natsume Yujincho or something like that, right? They all have
yeah,
a very specific different tone because it is the endless journey as opposed to um whatever's going on. Even Gintama or something like Gintama, right? It has a different tone.
yeah,
I mean, not just a comedic tone, but it specifically has a kind of like we're just gonna kind of build and build and build and build. But Orient kind of looks like there's something that's supposed to be going on, right? It kind of looks like a Fire Force. It kind of looks and smells like a My Hero Academia. It kind of looks and smells like there's supposed to be an endpoint, but there really isn't. Like they're just kind of running around and doing cool stuff, like the holding a sword full of black lightning, or using a scythe like a katana and doing some sort of style like sword art style that's based upon the scythe, or not the scythe, fucking the huge red pickaxe or whatever, Doom.
yeah.
And it, it's it's a little bit shallow. That's I think what I want to leave it at. It's not. I don't want to criticize it too much, but it's clear that the author has zero intention of making any of this that coherent or compelling, and all he wants to do is just kind of bleh, just project all of his fantasy and all of his desires onto the page and just kind of leave it there. And I'm
Yeah.
not really sure I appreciate that as
I
much.
mean, I don't think there's anything necessarily inherently bad about that,
Yeah, it
but
just needs to be a little bit packaged better. It needs to be packaged better. It
yeah,
needs
I
to be
think I
directed
think
better.
if you want to do something like that, which is fine, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
there's tons of
Like
chuny
having
ass shonen
having
series
cheesy
out there.
stuff is fine. Yeah, it just needs to be
Yeah,
direct. It needs to be
I think
channeled better.
yeah, if you want to make especially a shonen series, I feel like shonen especially like you really need that push towards an end goal, even if like you literally never get there. Because again, like Inuyasha went on for fucking forever, right? And like very rarely was there major like progress towards the goal.
Right.
Um, but it's still one of the most beloved series out there because
Mhm.
it was good. Um,
Right.
but obviously, like you can't just be like, yeah, here's this shonen series, and all we're ever going to do is fight a monster of the week, right? Like people get bored of
Okay.
that. And even with something like JoJo, right? Well, like with JoJo Part 3, people got very bored and tired of the bad guy of the week format. Um,
Mhm.
and it had to wrap up. Uh, but yeah, like I think there's nothing bad about having a super chuny, like sword shooting out of my eyeballs series.
Right.
But it definitely needs to be focused, right? Like
Mhm.
just in a general direction. Um, the focus can be broad, but there needs to be something there. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah. It was kind of, I don't know whether I would say unfortunate, because I knew that this author could be pretty sketch a lot of the time, especially if he's not making something bombastic and contained while still being contained, like Sumomo Momomo, which was again both like it was bombastic, but it was kind of contained, right? Like there was a
yeah,
definite like point it had to go to. But with Magi's story was just honestly it was a fucking disaster. It's still better than this, which is saying something. But it was still an unmitigated disaster, Magi's story, and I think he wanted to create something along the lines of Adventures of Sinbad, but he also wanted to create it as toony as possible, and it just kind of became this weird beast. So that's sort of my thoughts on it. I don't really have too much else to say. Again, there's just too much. There's too much greed. There's too much desire from the author coming out of it. I can't take this much like unbridled, unfettered, unregulated. I'll just do whatever I want. Fuck the pacing. Fuck the story. Fuck whatever objectives. I'm just gonna have this main character, bleed while carrying, while all the swords spurt out of him, and he's carrying the sword of black lightning. It's too much for me. I need a little bit less fat in my diet. Is what I'm saying. So, anyways, that was sort of my review for Orient. If you want to see something super super cheesy and like almost like early late 2000s ish series, then I guess check this out. But you're not really gonna be going through, say, like emotional catharsis while you're watching this. I'll just say that. So yeah. Anyways, that was my review for Orient, and next up is Toast. What do
What?
you have for us?
What do you want? Hello, it's
What
me.
do you have?
I
What do
don't
you have
know.
for us today?
What do I have? Okay,
Would you
so
like to tell us the title?
it's made by Maho Film, and
Uh-huh.
Maho Film. I don't know how to rate them. They did the 100-Man Inochi. I guess that was cool. I did like I like the if it's for my daughter, I'll defeat the demon lord. I like that one. But then they made the stupid. I don't. Did I review this? I don't know. Inspired. No, you know what? No, I did. I did it. They did By the Grace of the Gods. That sucked. I didn't like that. So they're what? 2 for 2, maybe 3. I guess 3. So no, I don't know. They're 1 for 2, and I guess this is a good one. Okay. So how it goes is the main character's name. Kana? Yeah, her name's Kana. And so she's in the world of Leadale, but it's a VR MMORPG, you know? And how it works is she's playing the VR MMORPG, but she's bedridden in the hospital bed. So I guess this whole game is her life and whatnot. And then and she's playing Leadale, and all of a sudden power goes out in the hospital bed, or the power goes out across the city, and the hospital goes out, and guess what? She dies. Because I guess future hospitals don't have a backup life support just in case something like this happens. So she died in real life while playing the game, and guess what? She got isekai'd because of it, and how did it go again? Okay, so she died in real life, but then her mind got transported to Leadale, but Leadale closed 6 months after her death because one of their players died while playing the game, so that wasn't good
Okay, yeah.
PR. So, but the Leadale she's in right now isn't the game. Maybe it is. I don't know. Might be. No one
Okay.
knows. Spire.
It's a
might be.
game. It's the isekai that's modeled after the game is the implication, right?
Do games survive even if their servers shut down?
Well, that's probably going to be part of the theme, maybe,
I don't
of the
know.
series, right? Maybe.
It's a private server.
The drop rate is like times 50
How
or
did her
something, right?
mind
Yeah.
move to a private server then? That's suspicious. Oh well, but yeah, she wakes up and she wakes up in a inn and she's like, "Where the heck am I?" And then she asks around. And and it turns out it's been 200 years since she last woke up in the game or last logged out or whatever,
Mhm.
I guess she's suddenly thrust in the future of 200 years. Some stuff has changed, and she's like, "All right, I guess I gotta explore the world and see if there's any others like me." If you think about it, the premise, I've seen people compare the beginning premise to Overlord, I guess, where
Wait, Overlord?
where he's like, "Oh,
Wait, why?
I got logged out of the game,
Oh,
but
you
not
mean
really.
the
Got
background
transported
setup,
to
the
a
background setting, not no. Okay, yeah.
I got
Okay.
transported to another world, and people are like, "Oh, okay, sure." But I guess then again, maybe the overall goal of the series is somewhat the same in some weird ass way. Because if you think about it, Ain's Momonga's goal was to like, oh, I've been suddenly thrust into this world, and I gotta find the other player characters, see what happened to them. That's kind of a Kane's what's her name? Kana's goal. Because in her previous world, she was one of the 13? The 13 skill masters. You know, the top ranked players of the game. Skill. And there's 13. Is it 13 Guardian Towers? I guess. I'll just say there's 13 Guardian Towers in Leadale. And so her goal is to travel around the world, find those 13 Guardian Towers, and check what's up. But that's pretty throwaway.
So is this like a journey series? Is this like a
It's a
solo
journey.
life kind of thing?
It's 100% a slice of life series.
Uh, Wait, when you're saying slice of life, does she stay in one place and kind of do, or does she actually
She goes
make a
and
journey?
travels around. Really,
Oh,
there's no
for the
like
most part, yeah,
her whole big goal was, oh, I gotta find the 13 towers and see if there's any other players leave. But that's pretty hand waveable.
Okay,
She's
yeah,
when she finds her tower, she has her own tower. That's where she starts off, and and
okay,
that's where
okay.
she finds her goal was like
I see.
the tower guardian's like, oh master, it's been 200 years. I don't have any. I haven't had contact with the other 13, the other 12 towers, and I don't know what happened to them. And she's like, okay, I guess I'll investigate
Right.
that. And then there's that.
So how do you find it in terms of
I don't
just?
know. Let me talk more about, I guess, the world setting. In the MMO, whatever. She's the third skill master, all right. And so skill masters are these super rare players that can bestow skills onto other players without going, without having to do like a quest or a trial or whatever. And
What?
so I don't know.
What kind of system is that?
That's exactly. Like maybe they're like a special. If they can give out skills randomly, and that was the whole reason why she built a guardian tower, is to isolate herself from other players. Because imagine what is it, a skill holder, and you can pass skills to anyone else. So all the other players were like, "Hey, give me a skill," or whatever. So she was being hounded by those other players. Why she built a tower
Log
or
out?
whatever. How can she log out if she's stuck in a hospital bed,
Mm.
unable to move or do anything? So it's like, oh, you want to sit in a hospital
Isn't
bed, or you
this
want to
just the
play in an
isn't
MMO?
this just the fucking Alice? This is essentially just like a slice of life version of the Alicization arc, right? She's stuck in the hospital because of the nanomachines, and then fucking
Yeah,
she
but yeah, no, it's that one chick. What's her name? Well, it's not Alicization. It's
gonna get all online or whatever.
no. Mother's Rosario, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I know what you
That
mean.
well,
Yeah.
that character's name. What's her name again? The
Yeah,
one that
Yuki,
Yuki,
right?
the one stronger than Kirito.
Yeah.
Oh,
Except she has
Maybe.
super AIDS.
well, she died too. So there's that.
Omega 8, yeah.
Spoiler.
Dude.
But yeah. I guess the world of Leadale, whatever. She's a high elf, so that explains why she's survived these 200 years, I guess, in game. Whatever. So she's like what, 7? She said 17. So 200 years passed. She's now 217. That's okay. And then there was another party system, or there was a. I guess I'll put it in this way. There's another system in the game where could adopt NPCs as your children. An adoption system, I guess. So
Dude, it's just like Skyrim.
Yeah.
so I guess that's the focal. That I mean, the adoption system is, I guess, how they're gonna hand wave the probably the only other important characters in the series, which are our three children. Her biological, in quotes, like high elf, what's his high elf son is Sargo. Is it Sargo? I don't even remember. Sargo, Scargo. There you go, Scargo. I get it. Scargo. That's her high elf son. Then Mai, another daughter. Scargo's direct younger sister, I guess. And then she adopted a dwarf named Kartats, because you could adopt an NPC. She was like, "All right, I'll take
So,
this dwarf."
so wait, did this happen before she got isekai?
Yeah.
So how are they still alive?
Well, it's a dwarf
They're
and an
all
elf.
elves.
They live, yeah.
Yeah, they're
So
all elves.
luckily, she picked races with high lifespans.
I don't remember dwarves living 200 years.
He's
Yeah,
old
there's
looking,
like
so
certain
he's at the end of
media
his
where
rope.
dwarves are also like.
So
Oh,
yeah, so
okay.
yeah, dwarves can live pretty long. But yeah, so the first thing after she finds the tower is like, I guess I'll go visit my children. So she finds her children, and she's like, "Oh, cool." And Scargo's voiced by Ono Daisuke, which is kind of weird, because Scargo's you know, he's an Ikemen, and he has this special skill that like makes
Oh,
rose petals
can
appear.
play an Ikemen. He's been fucking voicing BL CDs for like 30 years. Come on now.
But yeah,
You can
Scargo has
voice
a
Ikemen.
skill that whenever he talks, he makes rose petals appear. I guess that what makes him Ikemen. And Mai is kind of weird. She's also a mother con. They both love their mother dearest very much. So they're fawning over her and whatnot. Then Scargo's kind of tsundere because he's an old man dwarf. So he's like, "Mom, stop treating me like that. Even though you're older than me, because he looks like an old man, and she still looks in her teens." So what's weird is Kartats, the dwarf, he's voiced by Sugita. So I see where they're going with this.
But yeah, in terms of like the overall.
But yeah, she
Um,
meets her sons, and she meets her family, and she meets her extended family because it's been 200 years, so they have granddaughters and grandsons, whatever. Then she meets some other players who have also been transferred into the game. There's an interesting arc with one of them, but it's still pretty slice of lifey. There's no real main plot that goes on. It's been 9 episodes, and yeah,
yeah.
that's about it.
So it's mostly just her just kind of walking around, as you said, and just doing slice of life stuff, meeting with people, kind of chilling and stuff like that, right? Do
Yeah,
you
pretty
see
much.
this going anywhere
No,
more like deeper, or no?
no.
It's just gonna be that sort of tone. Okay.
Does anyone have
How
like
do
a
you?
crisis where they're like, I gotta get out. I need to get out.
I got Truman Show, full Truman Show. Yeah.
Game
Well,
over,
yeah.
man.
I mean, it's like
Game
imagine
over.
if like you had people walk up to you and be like, yeah. By the way, this is a video game, and you're here because you're trapped in here because you died.
Yeah, like what would you do if like a sim just like looked into the camera?
Yeah.
There was the let's see. There was
And you
this
realized you had a diamond over your head.
there was this one arc where she's going off to exterminate some bandits because they were blocking off one of the guardian. They were holding up in one of the guardian towers, and the bandit leader turned out to be some player. And they were having their player banter like, "Oh, I'm like, are you a player?" And you're like, "You're a player too? I don't care." The bandit leader's like, "Oh, this game, Like, who cares what I do? I'm a player killer. I can do whatever I want because this is a
Whoa.
VR game. And then Kane is like, no, this is real life now, because the game ended whatever long ago.
If
He's like,
you
I
die,
don't
you die
care.
in real
I'll
life.
kill
in the
you.
re-
How does
And then,
she know that? Can I ask that? How does she know that the game ended 6 years after she died?
She finds that out, or it's 6 months. She finds that
6
out.
months.
She finds that out after she meets some other players, but that's like what, later on in the
But how do
episodes.
they know? So like they didn't die while playing the game.
Yeah, because they were still playing the game, and then when they ended service, they woke up in a field, and it's like, what? We're still in the game. It's kind of like that.
What?
I mean, that's
So wait,
gotta
so
be hell.
so people that didn't die just one day woke up in the game.
Yeah, I guess if
That
you
is-
didn't log off, you're stuck in the game forever.
That's
Shit,
fucked
dude.
up, dude.
I know it is.
Yeah, this is propaganda. Fucking log out before maintenance begins, bitch, or you're trapped in here forever.
But yeah,
So
she
in
meets the
terms of-
bandit leader. They do some PvP fights, and then Kana's like, "Oh, this is the real world now. Have you thought about all the bad things you've done?" And it's like, and he's like, "Oh no, please don't kill me. I'm just a kid." And I was like, "Whoa, that's just like real life. A player killer that's actually like what, a 12-year-old?"
That
And then
that is
she
true,
was,
though.
and then she was
Yeah,
She
and
was
then
about
he
to-
calls her the N-word, and it is really just like real life.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's
Just stabs and runs away.
he's crying as he's about to be killed, and she was just about to kill him. It's really cool. But then, her grandchildren stop her because, her grandchildren, was it Scargo? She's pretty famous. Her children are pretty famous. Scargo's like a high priestess, or a high priest of some whatever. The dwarf is a master carpenter builder, and her Mai, the younger sister, is like head of the Mage Academy, and it's been 200 years, so they've had children, and one of
Right.
the granddaughters is like the part of the Knight Order, so she has to stop. So no, she stops Kana from actually killing a player, which would have been cool, but I guess even Japan can't kill a kid, even if it's VR.
But
Oh,
he's
yeah.
I don't
abandoned,
know.
so
I
like
don't
he's got no human rights anymore, you know?
I guess.
True.
But
He's not that tall.
Wait,
that's
how
probably why
tall is he though, Nick?
Yeah.
He's-
True,
he's
That is
true.
he's in his avatar state. He's like a demon, a big tall demon.
Yeah,
So she was about to
barely
kill him, but
passing.
the Night Order stops him because it's the right thing to do. And she's like, "Damn, idiots! He's stronger than all of you." But whatever, I don't care anymore.
So what? How do you? I mean, do you like the series? Do you like the
It's
way that it's
yeah,
set up, or what?
probably the best isekai this season. It's a
Wow.
lot better than freaking. What is it? What is it? Wise Man? Screw that show. Wise Man, old man.
Kendeshi and Shikakumon, right?
Did
I
you
believe.
did you
Or
cover
was it-
that, Spire? Because I'm not gonna cover that. Hell no.
I did not cover it.
Don't. It sucks.
Okay.
But
So
yeah,
you like the pacing, and
it's
do you think you're
compared to
gonna
other
enjoy more of
isekais,
this? Or-
this is pretty slapstick.
Okay.
It's because the way Kana interacts with her children is like, oh, Kana, did you like because Kana's was known in game as like, what is it, Silver Ringed Witch of Calamity, because she's a super high level player and whatnot.
Mhm.
Could rain destruction on anyone who crosses her, and so they're
Mhm.
like, oh, don't make grandmother mad or she'll kill you. And she's like, ha ha ha, that's funny. And then she beats him up.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and then
Okay.
she kills him.
I think she killed Scargo at one point because one of because Mai brought in a coffin, and then they put him in the coffin and they carried him away. So it's like, oh, I guess he is
Oh,
dead.
nice.
So, it's pretty slapstick. Good. It's not.
Audio visuals.
They're okay.
How are the audio visuals?
There's some weird ass CG parts that look really bit like super average.
Mhm.
I mean, but it's okay. I don't. It looks cheap. Kind of looks cheaply made, but
Who? Yeah, you said Maho Studio,
it's
right?
most studios.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's
the same
fine.
studio that did. You said it was for my daughter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that show wasn't
Uh,
exactly a looker, but it was fine.
Uchimusume, yeah, I believe.
But yeah, I
Okay.
like having a. Been a while since we've had a isekai protagonist that isn't a stupid ass himbo.
That's himbo. That's a very strong description, although I wouldn't necessarily go
It's
against
like,
it. But
oh,
yes.
I'm a black haired isekai protagonist. I captured, or I'm sorry.
To be
Let me
fair,
rephrase it.
they have to represent Japan, okay? How can they
I
represent Japan if they're not black-haired and they like curry and they have to make soap, right? They love
and
they
Yeah.
what is soy sauce and butter? Oh,
And they're also stupid as shit, but also the smartest person in that world.
they also love democracy. So whenever they see a king, they're like, I can't believe I can't believe this place is run by a
they
king.
also
Where's
have
democracy?
they also have to rescue
monarchy.
they also have to rescue demi-human slaves and release them, and
Yeah, exactly,
and they so
exactly,
happen to be
exactly.
all be girls.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Anyways,
It's
yeah.
refreshing because Kana's kind of a.
Mhm.
I've seen people say she's a psychopath, and I'm like, yeah, she kind of is.
Well, part of that is like feeding into the slapstick shtick, right?
Yeah, it
The
is.
point
It's
the
part of the
point is,
slapstick,
yeah,
and
yeah,
she was straight just about to kill a dude, a little kid,
yeah,
and I was like, damn, that's hardcore. I like that
yeah.
because even Kirito. Remember when Kirito was hunting orange players and PK killers? He didn't. Did he? No, he killed people. Yeah, Kirito killed people. So I
He
guess I'll give
did,
him.
but
I'll give him points for that.
Kirito
That's
also
usually.
wears a black trench coat. Of course he kills people.
I mean, that arc was also very stupid because it was like, oh, I'm so high level you can't even hurt me. It's like, shut up, dude.
My battle healing. What was it?
I
My
mean, listen,
battle
that's the
healing
thing
Yeah,
with a
skills
lot of
my
these
outdo all your
series.
HP
It's
damage.
my
just like
HP regens faster than you can hurt me. It's like, okay, bro.
bro, this game sounds like shit. Who the fuck would play this piece of shit? Like,
Yeah.
it's like an actual game, like the fucking depiction of World of Warcraft in the South Park episodes. Like, who the fuck would
Yeah.
play this?
But yeah,
Okay. Anything else?
she does what she wants. You know, when someone crosses her, she beats them up, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I like that. And another bonus is, so far there hasn't been any forced relationship, like building like love at first sight kind of thing, because it's
Honestly,
established.
that's like what really relaxes me about a lot of the recent series that have like female protagonists, like the Bogyo one, right? The defense stat one. That's also an isekai. Obviously something like Macho no Tabi Tabi, stuff like Leadale, where it's like unless it's like specifically the whole like, oh, I got isekai into being what is it, a villainous in an ultimate game or something like that. Other than that variant, usually these females getting isekai'd in don't have the whole, we need to have the harem, we need to have the reverse harem kind of thing going on, which is nice. They can just kind of do their stuff. So,
Yeah, I
sorry.
mean that's a really big bonus points towards
Imagine having to do a
female-driven
modicum of world
isekais.
building.
Imagine having to get like build value for your series and like sell your series to actual people without
Yeah,
being like,
disgusting.
hey, there are girls that throw themselves at the MC.
Hey, you guys like
Bonkers,
slaves?
dude.
You guys like slaves?
There's also that it's it may be the fact that she has children that are like super high spec that no one wants to approach her in that kind of way. She's like, oh, little lady, but also you're a 217-year-old grandma with three super strong children who will beat you up. So like, I guess that shies away from other suitors, or is that she doesn't really care. I'm like, that's good. I don't need forced relationships. You already have three children. That's fine. I can, and you have good in quotes familial interactions with them. That's fine. There was that one time where she was hanging out with like another player who's a dragon dude, and there was some weird chemistry happening between them, but it was pretty funny.
Okay.
So yeah, this series, how does it sound? I don't know. Fine.
Yeah. What would you rate it? Mouth score.
What else? What else do I gotta say? Who's Eri Yukimura? Who are you? A newcomer? Okay.
No, it's well relatively new compared to some of the other people, but she's currently in Shiny Mus and Idolmaster Shiny Colors. So yeah.
But yeah, despite all that, it's a pretty average show, but it's a refreshing average where not a stupid ass himbo. It's like I've heard people say that the slapstick comedy is somewhat similar to Konosuba, and I'm like, I guess. What was the last comedy-driven isekai that we've had in a while? And I guess I can see why people say it's like Konosuba. What else was there, Spire? Were they all written by the Konosuba dude actually? Because there was the masked wrestler guy. That was an isekai, and then the combatants will be dispatched. That's also the Konosuba guy.
His combatants will be dispatched. I don't think that's an isekai though.
It is. They travel to another world.
No, don't they just go
Well,
down
it's
from
not.
space? Like they just in
Yeah,
space,
it's like
and then
space
they're
to
like,
space. Yeah.
Yes.
they're just like, we're the evil fucking mega corporation above this planet. Like,
Yeah.
not really.
Of all the isekais of this genre, I could say it's probably one of the best, because the rest kind of suck. But what is it? What is it? Cautious Hero? That was also kind of slapstick, wasn't it? Oh, and the one that there was another one slapstick series of this series. There's another slapstick isekai that's coming up soon. So yeah, but yeah. Would I rate this? I like this a lot. I'll give it a solid 9 out of 10. I like the main character a lot more than other main characters. It's not really groundbreaking, but it's funny enough to hold its own. It's average, but high average because I like the character interactions, and it's not really trying too hard to be funny.
That's
It's
honestly
just
a good thing.
naturally
Yeah, that's
funny.
okay, that's good.
So yeah, I recommend this series. Hell yeah, sure. I like this series. Good watch.
Yeah,
it's a mall
Pio is
store,
questioning.
Yeah.
Pio is like.
I was gonna say something, but
There's a lot. Listen, there's a lot going on in between that and that 1.0.
There's too much to unpack there, yeah. But I can like see the question mark over Pio's head where he's like, high average is 9 out of 10. What's going? But anyways,
yeah,
thank you,
the
Post.
only it's not really dark. It's very lighthearted for what it is. The only dark thing, I guess, is that she died, and she was like, "Damn, I'm dead."
Well, you know, it
I don't
happens.
know. There's
It
a
is
small
isekai, after all.
existential crisis, whatever, but she gets over it. She's like, she holed up in her room for a couple of days, and everyone was worried about it. But then she's like, "Well, whatever. I can't do anything about it now. I'll just deal with it."
Okay.
But yeah, I can't. Which I sure would be nice to see what the other player characters are, because you got the demon kid that no one liked and nearly died. Got the dragon man called Shining Saber, and some random warrior dude so far. And in episode 9, they revealed that she found a town full of high-level zombies. So she's like, "Oh, these zombies are too strong. They must be made by a player." So we're gonna see who that is.
Okay,
Yeah,
pretty
I
good.
like this series. Good. Definitely not strong. Perfect 9 out of 10. Would recommend to other people. Better than the other stupid shit. Like, what is it? What is that stupid pharmacy one where it's like,
Oh, the one from like last season or 2 seasons ago.
The one with like the bunch of lolly,
it's like,
animal girls.
animal girl slave, and I'm like, Really?
Like he has the power to make like the super pills or whatever it is, or the super healing potions, and then yeah.
Yeah, and an
Anyways,
energy
That
drink
sucks.
or whatever.
That
yeah.
sucks. Don't watch that.
Anyways, yeah.
Watch this
Anyways,
instead.
yeah. Thank you, Toast, for covering what is it, In the Land of Leadale?
Oh, did I
Well,
ever say the title?
I don't think so. Oh yeah,
Oh,
maybe you did. Okay, In the Land of
Yeah,
Leadale,
later
or
into it.
oh, okay.
Leadale no Daichi nite. So please do check that out if you want to see maybe again one of the slight variant on the Sky trope. And
Ah!
with that, we are going to move on to Dark. What do you have for us?
Oh baby, it's time for another fucking isekai. So I have pull up the full name. I have Fantasy Bishoujo 2. Just ends there, huh? Yeah, or in English, life with an ordinary guy who reincarnated into a total fantasy knockout. And so this is a show being done by OLM. But this is like a new, no? Oh, this seems to be like their first thing. No, what would you go? I didn't know that there was going to be a new studio under OLM, but here we are. So, yeah. And this is a series about two. It starts off with two guys after work having a couple of drinks. And once on their way out of the bar while super drunk, one of them just kind of like falls over and just kind of on the ground saying like nonsense, something about like he wish he was a cute girl or something. And then as he's like
That's so me.
saying saying shit in or like life would be so much easier. But so as he's doing that, his friend is like trying to be like, "Well, I gotta get you home. And a goddess appears before them. And said goddess promptly isekais them and grants them those two wishes in particular. So the sort of like two main characters, Tachibana is the character who gets reincarnated as a cute girl, and Jinguji, who stays himself but has two major abilities. One, he is practically invincible and extremely strong. And at will, he can summon the interior of Tachibana's apartment.
What the
and
fuck?
yeah, so he can summon a door to Tachibana's apartment, but you can't see outside the windows or anything like that.
Are they
but
safe from like
have,
monsters?
yes,
Are they
they
safe
do
from
have
monsters
running
on there?
water.
Okay.
I don't think, I think other people can like technically get in. But he can like summon and unsummon the door at will.
That is pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on with that. Pretty funny because, you know, a minor like spoiler bit, but at one point Tachibana just goes like, "Why don't you do all the traveling and I'll just stay in the room?" And then you can just make the door appear wherever you stop. And Jinguji brings up the point of, first of all, we don't even know what happens when I make the door disappear.
Right,
Right?
exactly.
Like we don't do that while I'm in there, while we're in there. And he was also like, and what happens when I make the door disappear? And if I die while I'm out here?
Oh yeah, exactly.
He's like, and he's like, so what's gonna happen to you then? So that's kind of like do a lot of bits with the room quite a few times. Yeah, it was pretty interesting to see an isekai right off the bat of like not dead. and basically like, to get back to their world, the goddess is like, yeah, you have to defeat the demon lord.
Oh,
Of
well, I
which,
mean that's just set up right.
Kind of fucked
yeah,
up.
yeah, and of which, yeah, the goddess is kind of like an asshole.
So
But
this sort of thing, the whole like I know that like you got to defeat the demon lord. I mean that doesn't necessarily mean much in terms of like the actual significant story. But is this like a general like progression, like mini arc plus progression thing, or is this completely like episodic where they're just kind of going around and doing shit
no,
in the
it's
other
mini
world?
arc, definitely mini arc with
Mini arc plus
progression.
progression.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they are trying to figure out like who the hell the demon lord even is, because they got transported to a world where no one
We just
even
don't know
like
anything.
believes anyone. Like they meet like the guy who is the isekai hero, where he's like,
Uh
I'm the black swordsman, and I got summoned here by the goddess of night or whatever. And then
huh.
no one believes him. Like he's
Right. Exactly.
extremely strong and extremely skilled, but everyone's
Mhm.
still like, you're committing
Yeah, you're crazy.
blasphemy for even suggesting that you were
Right.
summoned here.
Exactly.
Like, no, I have the tattoo to prove it. And it's like you're committing an even bigger crime by doing this. So yeah, it's like it is a very deep prophecy where like, or like a very old prophecy where no one knows enough about the demon lord or like fully believes that it's even going to be like a thing.
Are there
So they're kind of,
demons in the story though? Like
no, see,
monsters?
that's the thing. It's like they call him the demon lord, but so far the two what do you call those? The two like generals essentially that we've seen
Mhm.
is just kind of like one of them is a woman who wears like an eye mask thing, and then another one is a like lolly that controls like magic suits of armor that like consume
Mhm.
magic. So far we haven't seen any like actual demon. I think as far as like other races, really, we've only seen elves, like just elves and humans. I think.
Oh, you saw what is it? The elf chieftain?
Yeah, yeah. There's been a lot of her so far. But yeah, so basically like the sort of like gimmick going on, or not gimmick, but the sort of bits that wind up surrounding the series is that Jinguji is like I said, like extremely strong, especially when
Right.
introduced to this world. And yet he's just a guy in a suit. Um, but then there is Tachibana, who is basically like a magnet where everyone's attention is drawn to him, and he can't do anything about it. Like he can't turn it off. And he can basically
Wait, is
bend
that an actual
anyone to,
power?
yeah, like his like
He
quote unquote like
inflicts charm.
cuteness, yeah, is so off the chart that
Oh,
it
okay. That's
instantly
star power. Yeah,
charms like anyone.
that's pretty
Um,
funny. Yeah.
but it also doesn't really work in his favor because like they can't really use it because it's like too strong to where,
So people just go crazy. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like like they use it to like try and like diffuse a situation, and then bandits that were attacking just start fighting each other over him. So that it's not like they can, like they'll try and use it in a scenario to like bend someone to their will, but it just turn like trying to get the person to like calm down essentially and like stop proposing. Uh,
Right.
and there's
Exactly.
been there is a long running bit of pretty much everyone saying the same thing of like, getting down on one knee, going over to Tachibana and being like, I'm willing to give up my life as like X, Y, or Z. And I'd like to move to like a countryside and a farm and have 3 children.
Tried to
Um,
get married with her. Yeah, tried to get hitched with
yeah,
her. Yeah.
yeah, and it's always like the same exact line and delivery. So there's that. So he's widely useless in many scenarios. Um,
Mhm.
But one of the like sort of larger bits that's going on, the goddess in the beginning introduced them as like having like some sort of curse that won't dispel as well until they beat the demon lord, which they assume, like Jinguji and them like assume that they're falling in love and that's the curse, because they have a bunch of moments where they're like, you know, falling for each other essentially, and then they go,
okay.
wait, that must be the curse, but they don't bring it up to each other because they're like, well, I can't tell my best friend, like,
Yeah, exactly,
like I can't
exactly.
bring that up. It's like what
That
what
would
the
be
fuck is gonna happen if that's not the curse? Like what
that'd be kind of gay, bro. Back in
yeah,
the
it's
day.
like what you know, like what if I bring this up and and he just goes talking about like so there's a lot of very very funny moments with that, though I do highly suspect that that will wind up being the case where it's like not the curse at all.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely gonna be. Yeah, that's not gonna be
Yeah,
the
because it's
curse.
just like they have a lot of flashbacks where it's like Jinguji is like not into women whatsoever, and he like only
Oh
is
god,
concerned.
this
He's
yeah, okay.
only concerned about Tachibana. Like,
This, huh?
yeah, and so you know, it's like there's a lot of like the childhood friend stuff, and a lot of the flashbacks are like that, where it's
The
like
thing is,
major bromance bordering on like gay. So then it's like, well, I
the
have a
thing is, like this
strong
isn't
inkling.
PL. The like I've seen this before where it's like it's not BL, but since the author like the setup is quote unquote technically BL, right? Because it's like or yaoi, or because it's like they're starting to fall in love with each other, but the author still managed to properly pull in the male audience because the guy is now technically a girl, so they're like, I guess if it's a cute girl, it's fine then. Kind of like that's
Yeah.
sort of how it ends up being. So yeah.
But yeah, so there is a lot of play with that. And there's a lot of like comedy with Jinguji like actively being charmed in the middle of like a fight or a
Uh,
scenario,
uh-huh,
where like the word charmed like appears above his head. And yeah, so I would say there is like a very slapstick nature to the series, which definitely works in its favor, because as far as audio visuals go, um it is fine, but you
Wait,
know they're
who's the star
very.
again?
This is by a new branch of OLM,
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
so they're it's like it's okay. It's definitely not as, unfortunately, it's like not as good as like most of their output, especially like something like if you look at like Isekai Shokudo, it's
Mhm.
not up to snuff with that.
Yeah, but I mean, the issue with the difference is that Isekai Shokuto is also about food, and you know how
Yeah,
much
so they
the
have to
Japanese
pull
people
out
want.
like, yeah,
Yeah,
because it's like if that wasn't the case, then there's no reason to stop.
you know how it's like the Ghibli, like the bacon and the egg scene or whatever. That's not a meme. That's how Japanese animators want to animate like every fucking piece of food scene like that. It's yeah. Sorry, go on.
But yeah, so it definitely doesn't doesn't have like a massive budget, but I mean it has enough and it's not like jarring or anything, especially because it's
Mhm.
like all the fights and everything are extremely slapstick. It really ends with like Jinguji like one hitting everything. Uh, so there's that, and then like a lot of episodes don't even have like conflict. A lot of it is just kind of like them sort of stumbling through Sakai, and also, you know, yeah, like the jokes on top of trying to figure out like what's even going on with the demon and meeting a bunch of freaks along the way.
Okay. Would you recommend it overall?
Yeah, I think it's a very easy watch. It goes very fast. The episodes are usually seem to be like split up like sometimes like into like it's not like it's split in half, but it is more split in the sense of it doesn't like I don't know, it has like very key sort of what would you call that, like arcs in an episode, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um it's not it's not like it really takes many breaks or like stops to do much. Like it kind of just keeps going and then doesn't slow down anytime soon. So
Right, right.
it's very, very fast. But it is not a very episodic or like what would you call that? Like it's not like a 4 coma or anything where you have like 4 different scenarios or 5 different scenarios in like one episode. It is very much
Mhm.
like here is like the episode. It is going to go through the whole thing. Ton of shit's going to happen during it, but it is going to have a very clearly defined beginning and end.
Right.
Usually
It's
with
just
some
a
sort
little
of
bit
like
like
cliffhanger at the end of it.
chasing off into the sunset.
I'm
You
pretty
mean.
sure almost every episode has had some sort of like ridiculous cliffhanger. Well,
Who's your favorite character?
I mean, it's probably Jinguji.
So you
Just like
like the Tsukomi of the Manzai duo. I see.
he's a funny straight man to the team, especially when interacting with like some of like the freaks that they meet in the isekai. So, and there's been a lot of very very funny scenarios with how he handles situations.
My favorite character is what is it? The the darkness goddess of the night. She's funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's unfortunately only shown up once so far, but they do have a lot of fun with that.
She's a
Realistically, a good
chun.
character.
She's a
She's been
chuny
pretty
goddess
good.
for a chuny hero. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, that was a very very good bit. But yeah,
Okay.
so I would definitely recommend it. I think it's done very well.
Is it funnier than Konosuba? Because that Konosuba is the peak of isekai comedy.
Oh, how could it ever? How could it ever top Konosuba?
Konosuba invented comedy,
Konosuba is
so whatever.
a very different experience, right? Like I feel like Konosuba is very much a
Konosuba leans on being the sort of the quote unquote contrarian series, but it has its slapstick
it is
moments, but it
still a
doesn't rely on
fantasy
slapstick.
isekai at the end of the day, though.
Yeah. But it
Like it is
doesn't.
not
I don't
a
think. I don't think it relies on the slapstick as much as again it being contrarian. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It,
and
for
it's
Konosuba.
also and it is also a very much like strictly isekai series, right? Like
Mhm.
this is far more. I mean, it's way more of a comedy first, but it's also like very much, the characters go in, they have a goal essentially to get out.
Mhm.
And then like that's what it also revolves around, where you know, Konosuba is more focused on like the isekai in a lot of ways. Whereas
Right.
like this doesn't have like a ton of rather like serious world building. Like there are comedic like comedy bits that they use world building or like some world building results from, like elf and
Mhm.
everything like that. The certain like goddesses or like animal gods and stuff like that. But ultimately, everything is to serve like the comedic aspect of the show.
Right.
I do not think I feel like Konosuba has more than that in that sense, where it's like it
Or at
is
least it
obviously
wants to
very
do more than
comedy
that.
focused, but it
Right.
it wants to do like it does at the end of the day want to be a full isekai series, whereas this is just kind of like you know what you're here for. You're literally only here for like the comedy, the like bullshit isekai stuff that like we with that, and like the pseudo like gay relationship we can throw out here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, pretty good. And your last words on the
What's your
series?
rating? What's your mall rating?
My mall rating? I mean, if it's a mall rating, it's got to be like an 8.5, right? Like an
Let's
8.5
check.
to like a 9.
Let's check.
But the problem is
Okay.
that like a true mall rating, if I'm a mall user, would have to be like about 1 point lower than that, right?
Yeah, it's a
Because
7.
like series to me that I'm like, oh, is this series on mall? And then like a series that I really like will get like a 6, and I'm like, well, I would have given this series around like a 7 as a fair rating. And then like mall will have a series that's like a fucking 8 that I'm like, this is like a 6.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's a little bit unfortunate.
as someone who also knows about this series and watches it, my mall rating is going to be the same as Leadale, 9. Why? Because they're two different comedy isekais. One is an isekai that happens to have slapstick comedy elements. It's Leadale, and this one is the comedy manga that just so happens to be in an isekai setting. So they're polar opposites. But they're both funny in their own way, so that's why I'm going to give them the same rating.
All right. Well, anyways,
My
thank you.
recommendation is also to watch this series.
Okay. Well, good that again, I kind of expected it from all the from the reaction it got from the outside, but definitely again, good to know with the more extensive review, Dark. So thank you for covering this series. What's its full name? What's its fantasy?
Fantasy Bishoujo.
Fantasy Bishoujo Juniku Ojisan to. So please do check this out if you want. Again, sort of, I guess, comedic isekai with a a more refreshing take on things. Times. And last but not least, Nier, what do you have for us?
So I watched Baraou no Souretsu, also known as Requiem of the Rose King.
I thought you already
A
covered
completely
this
not
series
gay
before.
series.
Nope.
Like, wait, it came out this season? I thought you already covered it.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
this season.
What?
Nah, this we talked about a decent bit.
Oh, maybe that's it.
The preview.
But yeah. So this is a JC Staff production. Is a manga original, and it is a I don't even know what word I would use. I guess a
Historical drama.
It's a Fujoshi series.
yeah.
Fujoshi,
So this
just
is
start.
a
Okay. Time. Nier, you're like trying to describe like what the story is. I don't think the story is that. Just describe it as
well.
the
No,
Fujoshi
I'm not
series
gonna.
first, and
Yeah,
then
I'm not gonna fucking do a synopsis on War of the Roses. Like it's not gonna happen. But
Just play the Yu-Gi-Oh game on the GameCube. That's War of the
yeah.
Roses.
So this is like a adaptation spin-off, like fucking perversion. I don't know what
Perversion.
word I would use.
Yeah. Yes.
Of War of the Roses, from our boy Shakespeare.
The boy.
Yeah,
Wait,
and this is
really?
yes,
Yeah,
really.
it was. Yeah, it was.
This is
I keep
inspired.
forgetting.
This is inspired from the play
Yes.
Richard III, and to give a very, very short synopsis of Richard III, it's essentially Richard III is a sort of disfigured, kind of like disliked figure, and then he
Wow,
eventually
he's
becomes
so disfigured in this
he,
series.
yeah, he becomes king by a bunch of sort of, I guess you could say something like court intrigue and through a bunch of like crimes, and he tries to keep his power through more crimes and killings and stuff like that, and then eventually he loses his power and dies. So that's sort of the
Yeah.
long and the short of it. It's a lot of court intrigue kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways. go ahead.
So yeah, this is quote unquote inspired by that. And
Lovely.
instead of Richard being a like disfigured, like hunchback creature, instead Richard is a twink-esque intersex quote. So this series says intersex, right? But as far as I can tell, he's just a very feminine man, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Maybe the Mitsuki Saiga part has something to do with it, but I don't know yet.
yeah, I don't know. So this is a BL series, like this hardcore
Okay.
BL. Very Fujoshi focused. And yeah, instead of Richard being, this weird uh like disfigured thing, instead he is essentially a very feminine looking man who pretty much everybody around him like says like, oh, you're a
A
freak,
demon's
you're
child.
a demon's
Yeah.
child.
Yeah,
But
yeah. That's like the Ben Shapiro voice there. Yeah.
yeah, but I really like this series doesn't exactly like show that very well.
How is he a demon child near?
So this one, like in this series, the
Nobody knows.
character of Richard is supposed to be intersex, right?
Mhm.
Which would typically mean that
Does
one
that
has
mean a half wiener and half vagina?
yes, one has both genitalia, right? Um, but they haven't like. So I don't know if it's about the specifically the anime adaptation or if the manga does this as well. But they very much skirted around um the topic of the main character being intersex. The only thing they've really said is um you have neither the body of a man nor a woman, but you also have both, right? And there have been several scenes, probably a bit too many, where the main character gets sexually assaulted, groped,
What?
whatever, right? And they comment on the main character's body being different, right? And one of them is one character essentially like puts their hands on the main character's chest, right? And is like, "You're a woman," and I'm sitting here like, this main character, like Richard's chest, is flat as a fucking board in this series. What are you talking?
She just likes them flat, okay?
And he's got like
Yeah,
puffy nipples.
I guess, but the one of the other like one of the most I guess one of the more egregious ones is Richard is sort of um like on the run, um looking for his father, right? Who's at war, and Uh, during the course of this, he goes into an abandoned building that's essentially being occupied by robbers, bandits, essentially. And
Mhm.
he gets attacked, and it's obviously implied that they're going to rape him,
Mhm.
because he looks very effeminate. And one sticks his hands like down Richard's pants, and he goes like, "What are you?" So I'm assuming.
What?
Yeah, like I'm
What are you?
assuming that Richard does have intersex genitalia, but like they very much skirted around it, right? There's sort of like the series can't really make up its mind as to whether they're saying like Richard is a man with a woman's body, or they're actually intersex, or they're just like confused about the fact that they're a very effeminate looking man. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of weird like conflicting ways that characters talk about Richard.
Well, in
Um,
my opinion, I mean, again, I could obviously be wrong, but I think they're just talking about him being effeminate because
yeah, that's the most like consistent impression
the
that
reason
I've gotten.
the reason why I say this is, how do I say this without again being too critical? I don't think the creators of the people related with the creation of this anime, as well as maybe the author of the original um Baraou no Souretsu himself, right? Baraou no Souretsu, sorry. Um, I don't think they really care about the details of how Richard the Third is the demon child or intersex or whatever the hell. I think they're using that as a quick hook to be like, hey, look, we're getting this from Richard the Third. It's like instead of being humpback, he's kind of quote unquote he's held back in a different way. But then
Instead of being
they
humpback,
kind of
he's really hot, and no matter who you are, you can fuck him. Anyway,
yeah, literally anybody. But yeah, and then that sort of hook is immediately thrown away, and then the rest of it is just like Fujoshi material.
Yeah.
Do you
Um,
kind of get the same sense?
yeah. So Richard being intersex isn't exactly treated with
A
any
lot of
sort of
reverence.
like
Yeah.
respect. Uh, it's very much
Thought,
used.
consideration.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very much just like uh,
Oh, I want to fuck this guy.
it's like putting the like uh you know freak tag on a character. I don't
Mhm,
like using that term, but
mhm,
it's basically how they're treating it in the series. But like putting that sort of like label onto the character without
mhm.
having to actually make them like it's like wanting Beauty and the Beast, but your Beast is a hot twink. You know what I mean?
But that's
I mean, he
how will you
near
attract people? Why would anybody want to watch Beauty and the Beast if the Beast isn't hot? And
yeah, it's like
near
Yeah,
it's like the beast transforms, and he's still like a fucking shredded furry,
the
yeah,
with like
Beast
pure,
has to
with like
be
perfect fucking proportions.
the Beast has to be portrayed by Robert Pattinson. Okay,
yeah.
so just
With
saying.
no makeup on, and he's just Robert Pattinson.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but
Robert
naked.
Pattinson, but they
Yeah.
put like a wolf mask on him, and that's about it.
he's got
That's
some
him
stubble on.
in the Beast. Yeah,
Yeah,
Now he's playing both the
he gets
vampire and the
he gets
werewolf.
like
He's got his
The
own- yeah.
Wolverine like beard. There you
yeah.
go.
But yeah, it's not exactly like if you're expecting any sort of um like introspection from a like intersex character, you're not gonna get that. It's not treated as like this character is intersex. It's treated as this character is not normal. Um, which is a bit
But
disappointing.
the problem I have with this is like the additional problem, like other than the whole, the fact that they don't really treat it carefully. It's like not only do they not really care, but they're clearly using this not as sort of variant on Richard the Third, right? They're not even pretending like this is supposed to be one of the links or references to Richard the Third, but all they're using it for is to just create more Fujoshi fat material. Is sort of what I'm more upset by. Because like if the whole like I mean, I wouldn't be super happy, but it's like if they made the intersex thing the dive into the whole like intersex thing less relevant, but then in exchange use that intersex thing as what the humpback Richard III, went through and kind of showed that and led that into the standard sort of themes that the Shakespeare's play had and maybe tweak it around a bit here and there, I'd be like, okay. But that's not what happens, right? Not
No.
only is that ignored, but it's clearly these things are just clearly being used so that Richard III just becomes some sort of effeminate man, and then he hooks up with another, ikemen, and then Fujoshi's cum, I guess, or jizz, whatever, right? So it's like
Yeah.
fucking, I don't know, man. It's very just like kind of like how I talked about Orient is this is very on the nose. This is like people are whatever the author kind of wants to say about like this was inspired by
Yeah.
Richard III. Like
So
it's not.
so
Not really.
obviously it's very on the nose. It is, it's through and through a hardcore like BL Fujoshi series. But what I do want to say, and I think I talked about this a little bit before the podcast, but I do want to give the original manga author at least a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. As much as I can give a fucking BL author. But this series is adapted from manga to anime. From what I can tell, just from using my eyeballs and sort of doing some just minor reading as to like what people's reactions to this series have been.
Mhm.
This adaptation is dog shit.
Oh, so it's
Aha!
not even close to what
It is
was
it
supposed
is
to be.
very bad. Apparently, this is
Is it very
adapted.
different?
Just it skips over huge segments of character introspection and dialogue and interactions and like motivations for characters doing things, and
Yeah.
it just like shows the characters at face value in this anime, and a lot of that is obviously not good
Because they want to, yeah.
when
I mean, it's because the anime side, the production side, had a clear motive, like on how they wanted
yeah,
to sell it. Yeah.
obviously it's very clear from watching the first few episodes that they want to get up to a certain point as fast as possible. Um, but obviously, when your when your entire like series is like a sort of spin, a twist on a Shakespearean play, um,
Mhm.
usually, authors don't get into something like that without at least having some idea of what they want to do with the characters, where they want them to go, what their motivations are going to be, what their, uh, like interactions are going to be. But when you watch this show, you don't get it. You literally get none of that, right? It's like, you know, uh, Richard is like an angry, like emo, like twink character,
Yeah,
and
all
then
from this is like literally just Fujoshi vibes. It's like
yeah,
you're
and
like
then he gets captured, and then he escapes his jail cell, and then he meets Henry, the sex, and then they instantly want to have sex with each other, just
yeah.
instantaneously. And
Nice.
then Richard is like, "No, but I'm emo, and I want to be alone." And Henry's like, "But I'm gay, and I don't want to be king." And like
Nice.
those are the characters, right?
Yeah,
That is
I
all
think
you get in the anime.
the
And
whoever did the series composition slash the script, or maybe even the director, I feel like all they did was like they saw the character sheets for this series, and then they like were fans of Game of Thrones, and they were also like Fujoshi like BL fans, and they just combined that all together. It's like BL Game of Thrones plus
yeah,
whatever character sheet this thing had, and it's like they didn't really take into account like any of the deeper stuff.
yeah. The so obviously I haven't read the manga, so I don't know exactly how well it's balanced between the BL stuff and the statecraft. But
Mhm.
for the anime, it's very much like it's a lot of like it's focusing a little bit too much on like yeah, like the two houses are at war and they're warring at each other for the throne. And it's not focusing on like any of the characters. You know what I mean? Because I don't
They
know
just
how
hate
much.
each other.
Yeah,
Is
like
the
I
big
don't know
thing.
how much
Yeah.
you watch Spire, but it's like
I
the
watched up,
the series
up a little bit after the part where Richard's dad, father, uh gets the crown of thorns on his head. Spoiler alert, I
yeah,
guess.
okay,
And
okay.
then, and then
Wow,
after
Crown
that,
of Thorns. Is
Yeah,
he
so like
Jesus?
I feel like that scene kind of like that scene kind of like really epitomizes what this series,
yeah.
like
They
what
just
the
kind of hate each other.
anime is
Yeah.
sort of like focused on, right? It's more
Yeah.
of like it's just like it's focused too much on the two houses being at war with each other, and like it's not going into any of the reasons as to like why, you know? Like all
Yeah.
they're saying is like, oh,
You have to become king. You have to kill the
it's
king.
like I have to become king. I have to become king. A king fights to the end, and it's like they never went into why he wants to be king. What his reasons are for becoming king. It never goes into why Richard himself pushes his father so far into becoming king. Like he like Richard has literally no reason to like that's presented in this anime anyway to push his father into essentially going back to war, right? Because they win the first war, but he doesn't get um the crown. He gets essentially like a title, basically.
Right.
But then Richard is like, no, that's not good enough. You need to go back. But it's like, why? Like, why
Right,
does
exactly.
Richard feel this way? There's no reason presented at all, except for the fact that Richard says, you know, you, his father, said that the crown is like the gateway to like paradise or whatever.
Or the poets told him, yeah, the poets told him or
Yeah,
whatever it was.
but
Yeah, yeah.
like this show never, as far as I remember, anyway, the show never actually shows Richard's father saying this.
Mhm.
So I don't know if they completely skipped over that or like what, but a lot of this stuff is just like it's completely skipped over. And there's a scene, there's a bit I think where after you know, spoilers for fucking Shakespearean play here, but after Richard's father is killed, right? Um, and he's sort of out on the run looking for him, right?
Mhm.
And there's a scene where he's like in the forest, right? And he like dozes off or something, right? Or no, actually, I think it's immediately after where the bandits almost rape him, right? So
Mhm.
that scene happens, right? Like this character, the main character almost gets raped, and then
Oh, yeah,
immediately
yeah. Oh, yeah.
afterwards, they cut. They do this huge skip where he's like in the middle of like some city, and he like finds his father's severed head, and he like kisses it. And I'm like, is this a dream sequence? What is happening? And then the episode ends.
Yeah.
It's like,
And
hello?
like half the time, like that's interspersed with like Henry VI, like the other like
Yeah.
heir of this, just being like just kind of like wandering around, being like, I'm a traveler. Like I want to see Richard again. Oh my god!
Yeah,
Like
like, oh,
yeah, like
I want to see Richard again. I want to be a shepherd. I don't want to be king. I don't like seeing people die. And then Henry's wife, I fucking keep forgetting her name, but she's like, yeah, I'm evil, and
yeah.
I don't like you,
Yeah.
Henry. You are a baby, and it's like
Yeah,
these
to get the king
characters
from
are
me.
like
Yeah.
cartoonish,
Yeah, exactly.
and I genuinely want to believe that the author of the manga at least gave these characters some time to
Mhm.
establish themselves before the series like gets to this point. And the like this adaptation is just really bad. Like that's what I want to
Mhm.
believe, though. Again, this is a BL author, so I'm not going to give them too much benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
people do typically, from what I see, have like people have received the manga very well. They do think is very good. Um,
Hmm.
but again, BL readers. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I want to. I'm going to say not like super confidently, but like relatively confidently that most of this show's faults, and there are a lot
Yeah.
of them, are from the show, and not
I'm willing to say that. Yeah.
not necessarily the manga.
Mhm.
So
It's also very unfortunate because again, much like Orient, like you know, I guess in terms of in this case, it would be like the anime production and like the director and the screen, series composition people, right, and the scriptwriter. It's their desires, so to say, were clearly showing through, and it's very
yeah,
unfortunate. Yeah.
but yeah, in terms of like, oh yeah, I did want to comment on the audio visuals as well, because again, this is a JC staff production, right? And I want to say I haven't watched a JC staff show since, what was it? Fucking High Score Girl, I think.
Jesus
Um,
fucking Christ.
so it's been a bit, right? And this show does not. It's like not animated. Did you get that impression as well? Like they use a lot of like just
What do you mean by that?
like still images, like still frames.
Yeah, they're trying to make this like I feel like I don't know whether it's because they got COVIDed or like they're just don't have money or they got shitty animation or not. But I think also part of it's like they're trying to make it look very like again, it's very not goth, but like it's like the pale, like static sprite kind of imagery that Fujoshi's like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the yeah.
but the thing is, like, there's a couple moments where I thought were really nice, actually, where they do the still frame thing, with like sort of like the old Berserk anime, um,
Mm-hmm.
like the '97 one, where
Yeah.
like half of the fucking show is just like paintings with like
Mm-hmm.
audio over it. Um, they do that, right? And there's some really nice like oil painting shots that they've got.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and those are really nice. And if it was like more consistently like that, I think this show would look it would have a nice gimmick to it, I think.
Right.
But they don't do that very often, right? A lot of times they just show like uh oh, like this is how the war is going, and they will literally just show like the fucking like war table thing with like the little
Or
fucking like
the
the
like the
little
different
box.
silhouettes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
the
they'll show
different.
like silhouettes.
You know
And
what it reminds me of? It
it
reminds
doesn't
me
look very
of
good.
uh it reminds me of what like Baka to Test did, but Baka to Test did that shit well. Whereas
Yeah.
like this series just like kind of tries to be like fancy, like how a Shaft series or like Nisiri, not what the hell am I saying? Akiyuki Shimbo Shaft kind of
Yeah.
design with filter out, but not well.
Yeah,
Just not
not
well. Yeah.
it's not executed very well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if that's like the norm for JC staff, because again, last like JC staff thing I've seen was High Score Girl and One Punch Man season 2. So,
And
Yeah,
One Punch Man
well,
season 2.
Index season 3 looked like ass as well, so
yeah. So in terms of audio visuals, this show's not great. It's got some nice moments. Again, I think the oil painting stuff is pretty nice, and whoever did those, definitely, you know, should be applauded. Um, but yeah, overall, I think this show is definitely like a failure of like what
At least the
uh
adaptation, yeah.
yeah, of like what it definitely fails the source material from what I can tell. Um, and it's pretty unfortunate because you know, uh, as
It's a
like
unique series. Like the premise
yeah,
is
like
very unique, and it
as
could have
like
gone places. Yeah.
as much of a bastardization of the original Shakespearean play it is, it's you know, it's got novelty to it, right?
Right,
Like
right, right.
it is interesting
The
to
premise is
see.
a good try. The premise
Yeah,
is a
it
good
is
try.
interesting to see, different takes on Shakespearean works, right?
Mhm.
whether they're crazy like sci-fi takes on it, or whether they're a bit more grounded but still or a bit more closer to the source material but still very different.
Right,
It
right,
is
right.
very interesting to see. And as far as I can tell, people do receive the manga very well. So it is very unfortunate to see this anime adaptation not pan out nearly as well. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I guess in terms of recommendations, if you like BL series, check out the manga. Although
Mm.
I feel like if you like BL, you've probably already read it, I would guess. But
Also,
um,
if you really like BL, I'm not sure exactly how high your standards would be. So maybe you might just like
yeah, maybe you'll just
the Richard and Henry just fucking anyways.
yeah, maybe you'll just see the two kiss and you'll just like come instantly. I don't know. But yeah, I would say in terms of the anime adaptation, probably don't watch it. If you're interested in the premise, maybe check out the manga.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll become gay. I don't know. Uh, that's not my
It's like
liability.
yeah, it's like the gay conversion therapy, but inverted. It turns
Yeah,
people, or it's like the stuff in the water turns people gay. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Anyways.
near, how hot is the main character on a scale of 1 to 10?
Um,
10 being Astolfo
the main character.
or Hideyoshi. Yeah.
So the main character is like, it's like a the main character's design is like a black butler design. And
Uh-huh.
that like they're very like edgy. They've literally got heterochromia.
Oh,
They're wearing all black. They've got they've got the hair covering the one eye.
does he have a Gias?
I,
Is that why his eye is covered?
honestly, there's a scene where like his other eye like glows.
Oh
So
yeah.
so maybe I don't know. I'm not too sure what's going on there.
What
But
what what if, what if the other eye seals his other personality, the
yeah.
feminine one? Because he's he's both genders, right? So what if he has a male and a female personality? One
Yeah.
se- one
But
sealed with that eye.
in terms of hotness, I guess, I mean, from like a Fujoshi standpoint, I feel like it's probably pretty highly rated. But in
Okay.
terms of my personal rating, I gave it like a 6. Not really.
What's your 10?
Huh?
What's your 10?
What's your
What's
dad?
my 10?
Yeah. Mine's
Um
Astolfo and Hideyoshi.
yeah, I mean, Astolfo was pretty close. So, you know, yeah. I think it's good there.
All right. That's fair. That's normal, bro. Okay.
Yeah, that's the normal level of homosexuality.
Yeah.
Venti Haver actually saying this right now? Okay. Yikes.
What, bro?
Yikes.
I don't he doesn't really do it for me. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
You
whatever,
only
delete your
I'm more
account.
of if I'm gonna go for like Genshin boys, I'm more of what's his name? The spear dude?
Fucking, oh, Jean
Xiao?
Louis?
Xiao. The green one,
Ciao.
right?
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, he's more my speed.
I mean, hey, win
That's fair.
fellas are blessed, so there's
Yeah. Yeah.
no.
I'm more of a Raiden Shogun kind of guy, so I get your
Mm.
point.
Hey, buddy. Yeah,
Anyways.
pick someone fucking gay, and then we'll talk. All right? How about
Yeah.
that?
All
Square
right.
up.
Well,
All right.
anyways, thank you, Nier, for helping to cover Baraou no Souretsu, or the Requiem of the Rose King. I know this is also, again, I think it was important that we cover this series because we do want to cover, we want to watch series that are unique, and hopefully we want the unique series to be good, but not all of these unique premise, unique setup series are good, and sometimes the adaptation just fails us. So
Yeah.
again, unfortunate, but thank you for the review. And again, if you want to see a more unique premise, but maybe the adaptation isn't making the cut for you, check out the manga. All right, and with that, we are going to move on quickly to the news here. I do have a decent amount of news, so I'm just going to run through it real quick. On the awards front, here, first, the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of Japan, SFWJ, announced on Saturday that Yoshinage Fumi's Oku, the Inner Chambers manga, won the grand prize of the 42nd Nihon SF, or Science Fiction, Taisho Awards. The manga was competing against Takayama Haneko's Kurayami Niren's Lens in the Darkness novel, the Godzilla Singular Point television anime, Hisanaga Mikiko's Shijuyon Byo no Senritsu no Koku, or 74-second Melody and Solitude short story collection, the Post-Corona no SF, or Post-COVID science fiction anthology, and Takano Fumio's Mazuruna Kiken, or Mazuruna Kiken, or Compound Danger short story collection. So yeah, congratulations to all of the candidates and as well as the award winner, again, Yoshinage Fumi. Please do check it out if you are interested. Oh yeah, so I guess I'll describe the story of this one real quick because it is actually pretty interesting, and it's pretty funny. In Edo period Japan, a strange new disease called the red pox has begun to prey on the country's men. Within 80 years of the first outbreak, the male population has fallen by 75%. Women have taken on all the roles traditionally granted to men, even that of the shogun. The men, precious providers of life, are carefully protected, and the most beautiful of the men are sent to serve in the shogun's inner chamber.
What?
So it's like the gender
baby.
role reversal kind of thing. But yeah. Anyways, congratulations to the winners. Next. The organizers of the 16th annual Seiyu Awards, or Voice Actor Awards, announced the winners on Saturday. The winners include Best Lead Actor Award, Ono Kensho. Again, not
Who's
much of a
that?
surprise.
Oh, he's Harry Potter's voice actor. Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other
Apparently.
ones. Yeah, but lead actors, yeah, they all do like voiceover dubbings as well. For instance, Nakamura Yuichi usually does Captain America, I believe. Yeah, he's the voice for that. Yeah. Best lead actress award, Ogata Megumi. Best supporting actor award goes to Tatsuki Fumiko and Nakamura Yuichi. Best Supporting Actress, Female Actress Awards goes to Komatsu Mikako and Takashi Rie. Best New Actor Award goes to Ichikawa Aoi, Kawashima Reiji, and Sato Gen. Sato Gen is one of the didn't he do like Jakera Tomozaki-kun or like one of the other like random series here recently? I heard it. Best New Actress Award goes to Aikawa Kanata, Akao Hikaru, Shieda Nene, and Yano Hinaki. Singing Award goes to Saito Soma. Personality award for doing like variety stuff like that. Not variety, but like radio, like TV kind of stuff like that. Like I guess variety. So that goes to Sakurai Takahiro. Yeah, I've actually seen Sakurai Takahiro do like a lot of YouTube stuff recently, actually. And then foreign film / live action show award goes to Kusunoki Titan and Tojo Kanako. Game award goes to Musume Pretty Derby. What is this game award even about? Like, I don't even understand what's about.
Game award.
Personality.
Yeah. Synergy Award. Award for works that best show the talent of voice actors. Evangelion.
What?
Obligatory
Twice
at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they're just giving it because it's Evangelion.
Yeah, the Evangelion award goes to Evangelion.
Yeah. Yay! Tomiyama K Award, which is award for the male seiyuu who has been active in every field, including acting. So it's like the all-rounder. Suzumura Kenichi.
I have no idea who that is.
Takashi Kazue, which is the female equivalent of the all-rounder who's veteran who's been doing a lot of different stuff, is Iwao Junko.
I know who that is, but I don't know who the other guy is.
I forget. No, he's I remember his name, but I forget what he did more recently. But anyways, Kids Family Award, Sukui Kyosei, Influence Award, Seki Tomokazu. Seki
Who's
Tomokazu
that?
has actually
Who's that guy?
Come on, man. Bro. It's
Why I wouldn't call him an influencer. Like, Is he
Professor Seki is Gilgamesh, bro. Come on,
like
come
is he
on.
promoting NFTs
No,
or
no,
something?
he. No, it's more that he did. He's one of the main like MCs for
Oh, okay.
Abema TV's the Yoru no Asabi or something like that. The one where it's like they have the different voice actors and actresses on Abema TV, and they just like talk about random stuff and like talk about voice actor stories and like how people in the industry are.
Oh yeah, if he's
Yeah,
so famous, name one anime role.
I literally just said Gilgamesh, bro.
Name a second anime role.
There is a bro. I don't
Yeah, he doesn't
remember.
know.
He's Poochie, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, he did do. Oh, okay. He's apparently kanji in Persona.
You didn't even
Man.
say you didn't even say
Poochie, I think you
Gilgamesh, my
mean.
man.
Anyways.
Okay, well, name one non-anime role. I got one right off the bat.
No, that one's easy because it's Yoshimitsu. I specifically know that one. Yeah, in Tekken. But
That's it. That counts as an anime role. Name one live action role.
That's not an anime role.
Name one live action role.
live action, bro. I'm really bad at
Yoshimitsu
like
in
the
the
reference.
Tekken live action movie.
Live
Fuck
action.
yes.
Also, the correct
Uh.
answer is he's a voice actor in Go Sager or Go Kaiger. Oops, Go Kaiger.
Okay.
He's the
I'm bad
Moby
at
Rate's
memorizing these
voice.
things.
Wow, this guy doesn't watch Sentai.
Anyways, MVS or Most Valuable Seiyu Award goes to Shimonohiro. Merit
What is that
Award.
metric?
I have
Yeah.
no idea what is even the game award. I don't even know what that is.
It's a game award, dude. What's not to
they
get?
just give it to the game. Yeah.
Yeah, they
And then
have
the
one
special
award to give to a game, and that's it.
And then special award goes to Belle, which Belle is a good movie to give an award to, but I still don't know why they're giving you the award. Anyways, congratulations to all the award winners. And finally, the Académie des Arts et Techniques du Cinéma announced the winners of its 47th César Awards on Friday. The France-Luxembourg animated film based on Taniguchi Jiro's The Summit of the Gods, or Kamigami no Itadaki, manga won the award for the best animated feature. What is this? So this one, I forget what it was. Yeah, the manga itself is an adaptation of Yume Makurobaku's novel of the same name, The Summit of the Gods. The story follows Fukamachi, an avid wilderness photographer who discovers a link to the past in Kathmandu, Nepal. He finds a camera supposedly belonging to George Mallory, a mountaineer who went missing on Mount Everest. After meeting Joji Habu, a well-known climber with a passionate drive for the mountain, the two set off to uncover a piece of lost history. So, I actually do want to watch this later. It seems interesting. But anyways, congratulations. Doing some just some idle stuff because it's like there's been a lot of like weird stuff recently, but or pretty funny stuff, or I guess sometimes depressing. But one, the Love Life franchise is now getting into VTubers. They are launching the quote unquote virtual school idol project this fall. So they're they're just gonna get on the VTuber thing. And honestly, I think like once, Love Live, Idolmaster, AKB people like really turn the gear on and get into the VTuber like scene, right? I just want to say like
You ready? Who's your favorite VTuber?
it's gonna the shit isn't gonna hit the fan, but
Like,
the juggernauts are gonna show something different.
are they
I
gonna
think.
be new characters or the old ones? Because the old ones will be like,
No, no,
oh,
no, 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 no. They're not gonna be the old characters. They're gonna
oh,
be
then that's
new people. They're gonna be new people, but the Love Live, the Idolmaster, the IKB people know how to sell these idols. They have been in this business for years and they've built these ridiculously money-making franchises for a reason. So I think it's going to be a whole different ball game once these people join in, and it's going to be fucked up is my guess. But so Love Live is getting into the VTuber stuff. There was a funny sort of like idol show thing that what is it? There was a multimedia project called Idolbu, and the story is, what is it? It's a battle royale between 3 idol units, each one led by Sengoku era commander who has been reincarnated as a music producer.
What in
The
the
winner of the
world?
battle royale will be determined by sales numbers and voting at each live performance. The
What
group
was the
that
one?
wins will hold. Yeah.
Didn't I cover a one anime that was like idol? Oh, Selection Project, right?
Yeah, selection project. Yes.
Okay.
The group that wins will hold a grand live performance to adopt the name of The Greatest Under the Heavens. The project launched in 2019
Ah,
and
nice.
since released CD singles for the various idol groups in the project as well as held events. So I just thought that was a pretty funny premise. And finally, this is a group is in trouble. They're doing something like this, but the official website for the Nanabun no Nichini, or 22/7 Idol Project, announced on Sunday that 8 new members have joined the project. The new members include Aikawa Nao, Asaoka Mao, Amae Oto, Kyo Mina, Shina Satsuki, Shijo Runa, Tsukishiro Emma, and Mochitsuki Rino. The group now has a total of 14 members, so there are actually more new members than old members.
I only remember Sally Amaki.
It's usually how these things go, right?
Yeah.
They just get
Since-
slowly rotated out until there's
Yeah,
nobody,
there's
continuity
there's
left.
oftentimes major reshufflings, and this is actually not that uncommon, especially in with regards to, for instance, the AKB megalith or the mega structure, where it's like there are like generations that get like shuffled in and out. And stuff
Yeah.
like that. So,
Like, didn't the main character of the anime, didn't she retire?
the leader. So I believe
Yeah, it's like
Chiado, yeah.
I only remember Sally Amaki, and that's it. She's the only
Yeah.
relevant one. Pretty
So a
much.
lot of the since December 2020, 5 members have quote unquote graduated from the group. So, reshuffling going on, a little bit of trouble, but it's almost par for the course in this industry these days. So
Yeah.
hopefully they find more success. A little bit of number stuff here. Apparently, the National Publishing Association and Publishing Science Institute revealed in the monthly publication journal Shippan Getpo that Japan's domestic comic market, which combines print and digital publishing, has reached about US $5.9 billion dollars in 2021. This is an increase of 10.3% from the previous year. The proportion
Wow.
of manga in the overall publishing market grew to 40.4%, which is the first time this number has exceeded 40%. Total digital sales increased by 20.3% from the previous year to about 3.6 billion US dollars, which is also the first time this number has exceeded 400 billion. About 3.5 or 3.4 billion US dollars. So there's essentially the major portion of it is correlated to the general rise of the overall digital publishing market by 18.6% from 2020 to 2021. The print manga market decreased by 2.3 from the previous year. So yeah, surprisingly, what Japan has found out is that if you
If you
loosen the
kill
bottleneck,
all of the pirates,
if you kill all of the pirates and only publish print magazines, then you succeed. Yes.
yes.
But yeah, not too surprisingly, making manga more accessible via the digital market instead of having to buy a billion volumes of manga and keep it in your otaku room, right? With fucking next to your figures and stuff like that. Instead of doing that, letting people access it by, digital apps and being able to kind of read it on their phones while they're on the train or whatever makes for increased sales. Wow, that's surprising.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, fake news. But I hope that this sort of improvement also becomes global and not just limited to domestic sales. Again, as soon as they kill all the pirates.
Yeah.
So next piece of news.
First things first, after all.
Yeah, manually. They have to kill all the pirates
Yeah.
manually, one by one. The comics news website, The Beat, reported NPD book scans graphic novel sales figures for 2021 on February 4th. The quote-unquote adult fiction category saw the highest increase in sales in 2021, with the manga subcategory making up 76.71% of the volume sold in the adult fiction category. So essentially, it's saying that a lot of even in the Western hemisphere, although it's been evident in the New York Times like bestseller list for a while. It's like a lot of the growth in terms of like the adult fiction sales and book sales and stuff like that are actually being headed by manga these days. So it's pretty
I think you
interesting.
mean headed by Demon Slayer.
Yeah, essentially, Demon Slayer is manga at this point. It's actually bigger than manga, but two pieces of news on the digitalization and localization front. One, this is the biggest, one of the bigger pieces of news this past 2 weeks. Funimation and Crunchyroll announced on Tuesday that Funimation and Wakanim anime library and simulcast content are moving to Crunchyroll on Tuesday, starting with the spring 2022 season. Their newly licensed anime series will only stream on Crunchyroll. Funimation will only stream new episodes of continuing series. Crunchyroll posted a list of all titles heading over to his service, which includes titles with English subtitles and English dubs. This list will continue to be updated. Well, again, you guys all know what our opinions are on this matter. It's not healthy to have to give Crunchyroll all the power, especially when they weren't that good a localization service to begin with, when they were, down in the dumps, and they're not exactly looking to improve their service or their, video player encoding or anything really.
Say last I checked, their video player hasn't changed in like fucking 6
Yep.
years. It's still the same
Yep.
shitty one that
Yep.
I had to bet probably still crashes if you keep your shit paused for more than a minute. So
So yeah, it's I
Fun.
don't think they're gonna change their path. I think
Why
they're
would you
gonna
ever stop watching anime for a whole minute?
Yeah, exactly. Uh, so yeah, I think the unanimous general opinion of this podcast is that it's not good for any monopoly to really form, and especially one such as Crunchyroll, who has shown they clearly don't care about localization quality. So it's unfortunate, but it is
Yeah,
what it
they
is.
clearly
Listen,
don't care about
man,
the
when I
industry
hear
either.
term instant dub, I think
Is
quality.
simuldub. Yeah.
No, wasn't it
So
instant
literally,
dub? Didn't they
No,
literally coin the
yeah,
term instant dub?
because Funimation's was
I thought
simuldub, and
oh, okay.
and then
Yeah,
Crunchyroll was
yeah,
like, "Oh, we're gonna do that too, but it's gonna
yeah.
be instant dub." It's like,
They should.
okay,
You know how Amazon has AI that like predicts what you're gonna buy, and they have it ready to be shipped before like you
yeah,
pick
they
it.
just predict the script before the episode comes
Yeah,
out.
exactly. They have Johnny Young Bosch or somebody like whispering in your ear before you watch the series. Just like before you start watching My Hero Academia, they just start like voicing like that good stuff. But yeah. Anyways, next. NTT Solmara Corp's Manga Plaza digital service launched on Tuesday and announced that it will offer a 7-day free trial to readers in the United States. The new service will also award $10 US Amazon gift cards to 301 new registrants. So I mean, this is the whole this is the gold rush for now digital apps, right? They know that digital apps are stable and popular, and now everybody and their mother, who can open up a shitty, digital subscription app and get a couple of licenses, right, over from Japan, are opening up their online apps, which again, I think this is a necessary evil. I think we have to go through it because digital apps for manga reading are the future and digitalization is the future. But what I fear is that we're going to see a lot of shitty subscription models, a lot of scams, a lot of shitty readers, right? Laggy readers, stuff that just like won't zoom in, won't show you anything. It's all blurred images. And a lot of pain, a lot of growing pains before we get to any sort of subscription service that's even anywhere near tolerable. And we could, be going down similar path as, what we have with Crunchyroll as well, where we end up with one or two big service, as monopolies or duopolies where they can just raise the prices. They can, end up being like ISPs, and they're like, okay, you have to pay like freaking, $70 a month to read anime of any sort, read a limited amount of anime. And, if you don't like it, fuck off, right? You don't get to read anime, or sorry, you don't get to read manga. And, you know, I'm very afraid of that feature because this is in my opinion, this is the chance. This is what everybody and like every sincere manga reader has been waiting for, where it's like we can finally open the bottleneck. We don't have to struggle with Japanese publishers calling us pirates day in, day out. We don't have to struggle with, not being able to find the raws or waiting for some shitty scan later to help translate the 5th chapter of a series when there's already like 55 chapters out. This is the gateway to solve all of this. But I just feel that greed might get the best of us. So, Anyways, hope that there aren't too many bad apples in the digital app, manga reading app bunch. So, next and last set of news, couple of anime studio related news here. First, fucking Studio White Fox. I believe White Fox is known for their isekai series recently, right? In the last couple of years, right? Studio White Fox, Anime Studio White Fox issued an apology on its Twitter account on Tuesday for allegedly engaging in gender discriminatory hiring practices. The
Very cool.
The studio's recruitment page advertised a production assistant position specifying a woman under the age of 26. Why 26?
Uh-huh.
Why 26? That's very weird. That's like a very specific number. I don't know.
Yeah,
Why
almost
not
like
27? What's
almost
wrong
like
with
they're
26?
looking for somebody to fucking sexually harass in the workplace. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like, ANN confirmed. Okay, look at this. ANN confirmed that 2019 caches on the recruitment page specified a woman under the age of 26. The page now states, "Oh, a person under the age of 30."
That's not better. Like,
yeah, that's not better. It's clearly a woman under the age of 30. But why? Like that's not any better. Anyways, in a series of tweets, the studio's representative director Iwasagaku personally wrote, that while explaining that the company had who the fuck writes these ANN articles? Sorry. While explaining that the company had advertised the position in this way since the company's inception, he explained. The studio's representative director, Iwasagaku, explained that the company had advertised the position in this way since the company's inception, and that the company has, quote unquote, just learned the existence of the equal employment opportunity.
bro. Dude, that is the most.
That is the best.
That is the best. That is the
That is
best.
such
That is
a
the
good
best
fucking
PR
Whoa,
defense.
regulations?
That is the
Surprise!
best PR statement you could possibly make in this situation.
Oops, all regulations.
You could there is no better statement to make. Like,
How old is it?
you
How
could
old is the
like
president?
just be like, are you aware that you're violating the equal employment law? Like,
Opportunity.
the what?
The
Huh?
what?
Huh?
Whoa,
What?
what are you
What?
talking about?
What? Huh?
Where am I? Who
Where?
am I?
What? Who are you?
Who am I? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh my god. What a genius.
What is a studio? I thought I was a gay now. So where am I now? By the way, the law, which was passed in Japan in 1972, requires equal employment opportunity.
Yeah.
that
What a lord.
Isn't
I
that
want to
the,
see, I want to see that guy walk out in like fucking bell bottoms with like a fucking afro and be like, "What are you talking about?"
Isn't that the Showa era? Yeah, it is. Wow.
Yeah, I wanted it to be in like a samurai outfit and just like
Yeah.
speak in like the dekozaru kind of stuff and just be like, yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm from the fucking like 1900s here. He will also apologize for causing discomfort to others and for causing a disturbance late at night at Japan time. We endeavor to improve the workplace environment while being open to learning about things like the thing is, it's like, don't they have a lawyer? Like they have their
Yeah, they probably
legal
should have gotten
department,
a
right?
lawyer to make like a legal
A
statement.
legal department, yeah. Or
Yeah.
to,
Or just the
like,
legal
a-
department to check
Yeah,
before they
yeah,
post that and be
check.
like, You're violating a law that
my
was made in
God.
1972.
70.
You're violating a law that we passed like over 50 years ago. So might want
Honestly,
to
it's
walk that
also
one
very
back.
creepy where it's like
Damn, you think?
a woman, like if it was like a woman under 30, right? It's like it's still pretty terrible, right? But it's like it's clear what they're looking for, I guess, in terms of like they want a quote unquote young woman to harass, right? Instead of
Yeah, they want eye
but
candy
it's
in
like,
the workspace.
what really gets me is like under the age of 26. Why is that so specific? Like, do you guys know why they made it so specific? Like, I have no. That is creepy, honestly.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Anyways, it's like I want somebody under 14. It's like you're already in trouble for wanting some else a minor. But why are you so specific with the age?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
You need to
anyways.
be younger than my ex.
Yeah.
What?
It's like, excuse me? But yeah,
Dude, they're
anyways.
just trying to future-proof it for the next 50 years so she doesn't retire, right?
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. We can't have that turnover.
Yeah,
Anyways,
looking for
next.
long-term employees only. Okay.
Yeah. Animation studio Mappa announced on Tuesday that it has established a new studio in Osaka that will specialize in CGI work, especially 3D CG, background art, photography, finishing, editing, and design.
Oh yeah.
So
Mappa Berserk anime coming soon.
yeah, just like Milipensi, they actually hired all the Milipensi people.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
They're gonna create their own version of the 3D Berserk, and it's definitely gonna be at least as good as the second.
Fuck yes.
Yeah. The company established a studio in Osaka so that creators and students who live in the Kansai region who do not wish to leave their hometowns can still work in the anime industry. So yeah, I mean, Mappa is doing the thing that a lot of other studios and even bigger like umbrella companies and publishers are doing, right? They're creating their own internal like 3D CGI studios. So again, this is pretty standard, right? So
Yeah.
Mappa is
Question
probably
is
also going to
how
be
bad it'll look.
yeah. I mean, again, it's all growing pains. Like it's unfortunate, but I feel like it's a part of history. It's a part of anime that
Yeah.
we kind of
It's a
have to go
necessary
through.
step.
Yeah. And last piece of news: former anime Studio Giants has started bankruptcy proceedings on Wednesday. The Tokyo District Court approved the decision to file for bankruptcy on February 14th. The deadline for hearings, reports, and investigations regarding this matter is on May 12th. So, Studio Giants provided key animation and in-between animation for numerous anime, including Fairy Tail, Spasa, Zoids, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Bakugan Battle Brawlers. So,
Damn.
very unfortunate. Apparently, it was established in like the mid to late 1970s. So it is an old studio, but again, it's the story of the times. All the smaller studios are getting either uh, crushed into bankruptcy just because of the cost. I mean, just with the cost of the anime industry, even without COVID, but with COVID, it's already
Yeah.
even more of a double whammy. And even the mid-sized studios are starting to get swallowed up into the bigger studios. And sooner or later, again, we're going to see essentially like 2 or 3 studios by the time all this ends. And, it's either 3D CGI is going to save us all, and we're going to see a bunch of smaller indie studios that are super efficient at cranking this out, or we're gonna stay with these sorts of like almost like oligopoly, like a couple of studios running everything for quite a while. So it's unfortunate, but it's the state of the industry. So yeah, that was the last piece of news, and last corner. Thank you for sticking with us. Is the shoutouts and callouts. So everybody here gets one shout out, one call out each. Shout out is something that you want to praise. 10 out of 10. You know, 5 stars on Yelp. Good reviews all around. Thumbs up. Like and follow their account, and it can be any one person, place, or thing. And call out is the exact opposite. Something that you want to rant about. 0, 1 star on Amazon. Half star. You can give half stars on Amazon or whatever, right? Half star on Amazon.
Yeah.
So very angry. It can be any one person, place, or thing. And we will again start with Near. Shout out and call out, please.
I'm gonna shout out. I guess. I mean, yeah, I might as well just shout out Elden Ring. It's a pretty good game, I think. Pretty solid.
Elden Ring.
As for callouts, I mean, I'm probably gonna call out the Elden Ring PC port. It's not so
What
good.
do you
Yeah,
mean?
it runs not great. Although to be fair, I'm slightly below the recommended specs. So, I was expecting a bit of hitching and slowdowns, but
Yeah, I'm exceptionally above the
yeah,
recommended specs.
the issue is that everyone is getting them, right? So, to me, it's not really like it's not really like it's not unusual for me to be like seeing hiccups, slowdowns, the occasional frame skipping. But some people have very expensive rigs, and they should not be expecting that. However, they are, and apparently, it's like literally only because of easy anti-cheat. It's just implemented horribly into Elden Ring, and it's causing really fucked up performance issues. So that's not great, not too cool. But yeah, been unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So thank you very much, Nier. And what about you, Toast?
My shout out. I'm gonna shout out Leadale because it was the only sane thing that I've watched this season so far.
Okay.
What did I cover? World's End Harem? That sucked. What else did I cover? I forgot.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
they
you were
also,
like all for like all like what is it, like 3 for 3 at the time, like just bad
what
series.
was Futsal Boys
Oh,
this
yeah.
season?
Yes, yeah, that was
Yeah,
the
that also
last show.
that was also sucked. Yeah, shout out to only the one of 2 isekais that are worthwhile this season. Kept me sane, sure.
Yep.
I'd call out, man.
I feel like you and I might have similar callouts, but
Just
go ahead.
just be nice people. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah,
you're
that's
gonna
what I thought.
vent, just vent straight to the person or in private DMs or whatever. I mean, I kind of understand the event channel, where because being an online personality definitely takes a toll on your human nature. But like you need if you need to vent, sure, but be careful about where you vent in because
Yeah,
it's the
fucking vent and
internet, you
voice.
know.
All right.
Yeah, sure, vent in voice, whatever. But like, not try not to do it in a conspicuous place. I don't
Also,
know.
learn how to capture your fucking screen properly.
Petro is having
Don't
internet
just
problems, so
raw capture your fucking like desktop.
I don't know. I guess she was having internet
Sicko
I
problems or
mean, the
whatever.
way the way they were doing it was via Discord streaming. That's why that showed up.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was a four-way POV. But yeah, like whatever, man. Don't sour my hype. Don't sour my soup with your lemons. That's the phrase, right?
I don't think I've ever heard that,
I've
Was
heard
it
that either,
but maybe.
but
wasn't it about lemon stealing whores or whatever?
I mean, I've
what you're
heard that one.
talking about.
I don't know. But yeah, just I don't want it. I never wanted to be aware of other people's like unwashed laundry ever, and now it's kind of soured it for me. Don't break my immersion, bro. I watch VTubers to
Yeah,
escape
this
from reality.
was your biggest
not to be-
mistake was trying to follow ENV.
But, I mean,
I
Yeah,
kind of agree with Dark.
Ian's fine. Most of them.
Yeah, except
I don't know about
I
that.
feel like if
I
there's
don't know.
anyone that this is gonna
Doubt.
happen to, it's gonna be the
Doubt.
Ian fucking like
Of
crowd.
course, it.
Doubt.
I feel
Well,
like
that's
they're
because I
too
could understand their
not
language.
used to like.
I mean,
I feel like they're also
it's
just
it's
not.
more. It's also more the fact that fucking EN watchers are like fucking drama chimps. Like,
Well, that's true too. They're also fucking brain dead. Ian
That's pretty
fans
funny. Drama chips.
are so
yeah, like
stupid.
fucking. Because like, I mean, we saw it with. You can see it even with fucking JP drama. Like, JP viewers are some of the first ones. Like, obviously, there's like literal psychos out there, but like JP viewers are some of the first ones to like try to sweep drama under the rug, right? But fucking Western like stream watchers, I mean, just look at something like live stream fails. Like the
They
entire
want all the
there
views,
are
right?
there
They
are
like
entire communities dedicated to like clipping shit out of context to create drama. Like
yeah.
like Western viewers are just like genuinely fucked in the head. So if there's ever like EN drama, it's going to be worse because there's EN viewers spreading it. Like regardless of how petty the drama is, like this fucking Niji Sanji EN drama is like the pettiest shit. It's like literally nothing. But people are
Oh,
like
I mean that. Yeah, it
people
reminds
people
me.
are like devastated over this shit. It's like fucking calm down, dude.
Yeah, very funny. Just as an aside, I noticed the same. I saw someone posting to like the other day that the Genshin Reddit the other day that was just like it was something about like what's with like the treatment of the ENV stuff like that, or like some shit about like the EN stuff, and I'm like, it's literally because you're talking about like a lot of people's like Whitey's first fucking gotcha game. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
you have
That's fair.
you have a bunch of fucking psychos that are like just starting to play gotcha games, have no idea what they're getting into, and then like how anything functions, and it's just this complete clash of like people thinking like anything matters. Like there's people in like the EN shit that like get mad about pairings and stuff. Like actually just like
Yeah,
harass
well,
artists for pairings.
like
And
shippers
it's
are
like,
another level beyond like drama freaks. Like,
yeah, and it's just like, bro, like that's not how these things work. But yeah,
well,
it's
again, it's unfortunate. All right. Well, thank you, Toast, for
I
your
mean,
sharing.
I don't claim to be a nice person, but if I have a problem with someone, I'll tell it to them straight up. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, again, well, I'll also probably end up saying it in my call too, but there's a special brand of people, and especially if the more famous you become, especially when you're connected both to a famous brand and you start having 10K, 20K, 50K, 100K subscribers, unless you are very good, like you're ironclad at like shutting out the bad parts of your personality or like closing out the bad parts of your personality within, or B, you're just like a naturally good person, like a naturally decent person without really like any like glaring personality flaws. Unless you're one of the two, people will catch up to you. People will find you. People will find your dirty laundry. People will dig up every single significant, even minor sin that you have within from the bottom of your heart. They will find it. They will air it to the world, and you will need to deal with that shit. So,
also
yeah,
I was gonna say fucking in some roundabout ironic way, like I guess like this is also bound to happen more with some of the EN. You're definitely going to have people that come into this since, said even like, oh yeah, they're not branded in EN as like idols. Or like, ironically, in a way, an idol branding has a level of expected like humbleness to it, in the sense of like, this was not organic. Like, you didn't grow your channel, right? Like, this isn't actually something
You were
really did.
sold. You were sold as an idol.
You are,
essentially.
yeah, like, you are now filling this like position, essentially. Like, if you didn't take this, someone else is taking this. Like,
Mhm.
but you know, I feel like in the specific case we were talking about, it seems like this person treating this as like, yeah, man, like fuck these people, like look at how much like we grew, like look at how much like our channels are growing, and it's like, well, like literally none of that's organic, so it doesn't matter. Like,
Right.
at the end of the day, it's not like you guys, it's not like anyone is putting out at this point original content that's blowing up because of how good it is. Like,
Mhm.
you are now a part of a brand that will push you enough to have a certain amount of growth. So like, really can't talk that much shit about anything.
And part of a general like machine, not just the brand, is it's not just the brand on your forehead. It is, you are quite clearly part of a machine, a big machine. So,
But like,
anyways,
He's too early to say, to attribute to have his own success yet. He's too early. Like,
Yeah,
well, that's
well,
the thing, right? It's like, how do you even
not the
determine their
greatest first
own
impression.
true? At this point, it's like, I feel like that's where the humbleness aspect comes to it, because like, I feel like there are very few people who can really say like they've had their own success as a VTuber under Nijisanji or Hololive. Like, you are still under that brand. Like, that is a massive boost. Like, there are
yeah.
plenty of people who would kill for as like an independent channel, right? To like blow up in that fashion, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
So it's
without
like,
thinking, really.
yeah, it's like, so it's like, I feel like it's like you gotta be a little careful when you're like trying to like square up to someone doing the same exact thing.
Yeah. But anyways, again, thank you, Toast, for your shout and call out. Dark, what about you?
I am going to I'm gonna shout out Elden Ring as well. Because Elden Ring has Ronnie the Witch in it, and you know what doesn't have Ronnie the Witch in it? Near Sekiro. So fucking checkmate, buddy.
it has that one chick though, with
Yeah.
the rice.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
It has multiple ladies in it.
Yeah,
So,
okay,
yeah.
buddy.
Yeah.
Progress more in Ronnie's quest and then come back to me.
Okay,
Yeah,
but like
maybe I
in the
will.
beginning of the game, they call you maidenless, man. That just hurts.
No maidens?
No maidens.
No maidens. That shit rocked. But yeah, game's good. Open world is, I would say, while you're playing through it, if you don't feel like you need to do something, don't, right? Like, don't go out of your way to be like, oh, I don't really want to explore this cave, but what if it has something good in it? Like, just fucking look up the talismans later. Don't fucking go out of your way and do like a dungeon that like, you're like, nah, I don't want to do this. I'll have a lot of fun because you won't have to spend your time in dungeons that you really want. It's like Nier said, you're probably gonna get to the end and it's gonna be like some shitty summon you're not even gonna use.
Yeah. I mean, that's really only been my issue, because like there have been a few dungeons where I've been like, I don't really want to do this right now, and like I will come back to them later, like when I'm stronger, and like I'll beat the boss, and it's like wow, like I really like this is my reward, like a fucking shitty summon that I'm never gonna use. Awesome, sick. Uh, but yeah,
That's primarily why I looked up talismans. It's
yeah,
like, you don't want to get stuck in a dungeon and there's an ash summon, because there are a lot of those. Only a few above and beyond everything else.
yeah.
Okay. And your call out?
I think my you know what? My call out's gonna be the WoW. I'm gonna call it the WoW community. And people still talking about WoW. For a couple of reasons. The new patch came out recently, and there's a lot of people that are like, Blizzard's learning, and it's like, guys, like we can't say in the final patch of an expansion again that Blizzard's learning anything. Like, stop being confused. Like the same people who are like, oh, 9, like reporting on like 9 are being like, yeah, it's the final patch of the expansion. Also, like, here's all these like changes. There's a lot of stuff that makes literally no fucking sense in a human being. This, but are they learning? And it's like, no, dude, they're not, because like it's just the final patch of an expansion. They always ease up shit. It's way too early to tell. Like we do this every expansion. But yeah, it's like let's put it this way. A developer hasn't learned when there's shit in the patch that still makes you say, why the fuck would anyone make this? Like, how does this improve the game, right? Like, how does a mobile game stamina timer on like a thing in the open world to interact with treasures make WoW a better experience?
Right.
Because that's in the new patch. Like, how does that?
It doesn't.
Yeah, it's like they haven't learned. They haven't learned a fucking thing. And there's a lot of shit that should have been account wide already. Like, why on multiple characters have to go through like the story shit and like cap out your fucking covenants and be like, oh yeah, I did the story on my main, so now I have to do it on all of my alts. Like, no, like nothing you do on like everything on your main should just carry over to your alts because you've already done it. There's no fucking reason to do it again. Like it adds no. It's like a non-experience. It's like if you had to do the MSQ for every job in fucking FF14. Like, why? Like, it's already done. And it's not like it's something that's like difficult to do. Yeah. Don't give them enough credit yet. Don't give them too much credit because we ain't seen shit.
All right. Well, again, thank you, Dark, for your shout and call out. And I'll just go real quickly again. My shout out, honestly, again, as I said, weather now clearing up, and I can actually run outside in early days or during earlier times without flipping on the ice or freezing to death here. So that's good. My call out is similar to Toast. It kind of just goes to the general English speaking VTuber community. I honestly think they are introduced. I mean, I'm not saying that the Japanese VTuber community is all filled with, angels and innocent, hardworking people. They're not. There's plenty of crime on the dirt side, on that side, but there is a special and relatively unique brand of, not unique, but like unique in their own flavor, that of really stupid drama that the English VTubers are bringing in. And this was even before, like, this is not just listed with the big accounts for Niji and Hololive, but it's like everywhere. It's like from the smallest quote unquote Twitter accounts saying at getting ready for VTuber or whatever it is, right? Preparing for VTuber, blah blah blah. And then all the way up to, again, the Hololive and East people. But it's just like all this drama all the fucking time about how who's more popular and why they're more popular, and oh, I'm so jealous, they shouldn't be that popular or whatever the fuck. And just doing that publicly, and even just kind of having that sort of uh part, that sort of grudge in their minds to eat away at their personality, is just, honestly, it's so tiring. And I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to even sense that you have that sort of shit. So, call outs to the English VTuber community. as well as the English-speaking VTuber fan base, because they're essentially they're the complicit, right? Because they love watching that shit. They love watching the drama. It gets the views. It gets the max YouTube CPM. So, that's why this shit happens even more. So, anyways, call out to them. Yeah, it took us them against this. Is just like there's already enough stupid drama and scandals happening on, as when there are bad people, like some of the stupid stuff that Russia did, right? Ura Russia, the Hololive VTuber did, or former Hololive, I guess now, VTuber did. There are already problems when stupid people do stupid things. Why do we gotta add an extra layer of drama by being like, oh, you have more of the viewers? I mean, that can't be possible. Fuck you. Like this doesn't need to happen. Come on. Anyways, that's my that's my call out. And we are finally at the end of our podcast. We're going to have probably one or two more episodes, I think. Most series are at their episode 8, so we're going to have probably definitely one, maybe two more episodes. Go into our spring 2022 previews and then shoot right into that season. So, again, please let us know if you guys want to see any series that we should cover before the end of the winter 2022 season. And if you like what we do, we stream our live recording of the podcast every other Saturday starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast. That's with the numeral 4, where we talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese animation media, anime, manga, light novels, web novels, visual novels, and so much more. You can check out our recording on the Twitch VODs page /highlights here, as well as on our YouTube channel, 4PlayerAnimecast. So whichever format that you please on the go, and you can check out on our social media, Facebook, 4PlayerAnimecast, as well as on Twitter, handle at 4PPAnimecast, again, all with the numeral 4, where we post our updates as well as news on when the podcast is coming out, what we're discussing, and so on. So check us out here, check us out there, and as always, we'll see you next time.